Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show. Weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media. You don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is. And you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen some people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are back for another interesting episode over here at the Roger Report Live. We are going to be dealing with another unsupervised white people, y'all. Yeah, white people, they get a little crazy, y'all. We're going to deal with another unsupervised white people. Renee Good gets iced out, okay? Renee Good gets iced out. And y'all, this... it's a story to this. There's a story to this because, some white lady was acting how white ladies act sometimes. And based on what I can tell, it looked like she was acting like a Karen, and it went a little further than what she planned it to go. That's what I'm getting from the situation. But we're going to get into this a little bit heavy. But before we get into all that, let me first take a moment out to say, shout out to everybody who gives the channel views on a regular basis. Shout out to all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Of course, that's the fam over here. Got to respect the fam. Shout out to everybody who comes here and hit that like button. Y'all know the like button is important to the algorithm. You know, it's something that needs to be done on a regular basis. And regardless when you catch a stream, make sure you hit that like button whenever that happens to happen. Okay, make sure you get that like button whenever that happens to happen. Okay, it's never too late to hit the like button. All right, of course you want to hit it while we're doing the live. If you hear it at the live, but if you catch it on the replay, hit that like button, y'all. Shout out to everybody who hypes the channel up. Okay, every chance you get, hype me up, hype me up, hype me up. And that's just real talk. Appreciate it, because it goes a long way. And shout out to everyone who leaves comments after the stream, because again, also helping with the algorithm. I mean, it's a way for me to see different people's perspectives too, because I do actually read the comments. Yes, I actually go and read all the comments. Okay, at least I make a good attempt to. So if you got something to say, leave it in the comment section. And more than likely, I'm going to see it. Okay. But shout out to everybody who goes above and beyond and become financial contributors of the channel, because it means a lot that you do so. So thank you very much to everyone who does that. And today I'm going to say shout out to Derek W. He is what we like to call the sponsor of today's stream. I appreciate you big time, brother. I appreciate you big time. You know, people do it, but they don't have to do it. So I got to really show some appreciation for the people who do step up and do that. So thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much, because it's important that shows like mine exist. And it's a lot easier to exist when you have people who financially contribute to what we have going on over here. So we go and let me say shout out to the people who checking in first, because when you start a show, it's always great to see you got some people checking in when you get started. But y'all know how it goes. There can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream. My main man, Terenzo Jones, is in the building. He is the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Glad to see you in the house. Glad to see you in the house. Shout out to Bruce Own Wayne. What's good, my brother? What's good? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. We got Tunnel Runner in the building. What's up, my brother? What's up? We got the pit master himself, our friend, Chef Mike's Roundtable is in the building. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. We got my main man, Trail Bentley, in the building, representing hashtag Long Live the Habitual Lines Devils, hashtag Negroes in the Wilderness, hashtag Dignity Over Vagina, hashtag Al Gore's baby, hashtag Hail Hydra. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Glad to see you here. What's up to the righteous teacher? Good, great to have you. Great to have you. We got the Nice Place in the house. What's going on? What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. We got my main man, Pit Crew himself, Mr. Suge to you. Check it in. Check it in. What's going on? I feel you, Mr. Suge to you. Just so you know, I feel you, brother. He say, well, let me move on. Shout out to Grab Second Get Eddie. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. We got the Great Black Reset in the house. We got Aja Bay in the building. What's good, my brother? What's good? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. All my hoes, the monetizers here. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Bucket is in the building. Great to see you. Great to see you. Shout out to AB Media. Glad to have you in the house, my brother. Glad to have you in the house. Luck Man is in the building as well. And my main man, Afro Merchant, is in the building. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you, y'all. We gonna get into this, y'all. Now, I know I'm gonna get into it a way that other people may not have necessarily got into it, because that's what I do. Okay, that's what I do. Okay, I keeps it real over here. Okay, don't like false narratives over here. So we gonna say some stuff that some people may not be willing to say, but it need to be said, and we gonna do it. And it's gonna be good. It's gonna be enjoyable, you know. And sometimes it's tough to make things enjoyable because you got some hard subject matters to deal with. And in this particular case, we got a lady that she done died, y'all. She done died. Okay, they done killed the lady on the spot. Okay, killed the lady on the spot. Now, what do I think this is a big story because they killed some white woman on the spot? Yeah, I think that's why this is basically a big story. Okay. I was put on to the story. You know, shout out to the team I got. We got an unofficial team, but we got a team over here. They let me know about the story. I looked into it. Man, they done popped the lady quick, fast, and in a hurry. Now I guess people upset. They done popped some white lady quick, fast, and in a hurry. And people ain't got upset about it. Y'all know they doing protests about this and everything. And all you have is one dead white woman. That's the crazy part. They protesting. It's just one dead white woman. You know, black folks done protested before. You know, people throwing George Floyd's name out there because things kind of happen somewhat close to what happened with George Floyd. So they throwing his name out there. George Floyd wasn't no white woman. Okay. George Floyd was not no white woman. Okay. It just is what it is. Now, my perspective from the stuff that I've been checking in, this morning, last night, yesterday, day before, seemed like the lady was on some caring stuff. That's what it seemed like. Now, I can't tell you all the details and things like that. I just know what I saw. It seemed to me like she was on some caring stuff. And what was going on? It seemed like, based on what people are saying, Renee Good had a wife. Okay, Renee Good had a wife. Yes, this is a woman who's with another woman. And they had a child together. Okay, somehow they have a child together. I don't know if the child is one of their kids or adopted or whatever the case is, but I heard that there was a 6-year-old boy involved, and the 6-year-old boy was dropped off at a school of some kind. Okay, so the boy gets dropped off, and unfortunately for the boy, one of the two people obviously he's been trained that he has two moms, and when he get out of school, he gonna have one. Okay, so sad for him. He got to deal with the fact that one of his mamas is gone when he get out of school. I at least assume that they let him get through the school day before they told him, but you never know. You never know. All right. Now, you got two white women who happen to be part of the LGBT community. Okay, which is, again, it's a legal community to be in. It's not illegal in the United States. Now, what did I kind of see what was going on? Now, the ICE is doing what they can to remove people from the United States who are not supposed to be in the United States. There are people protesting the fact that ICE is removing people from the United States who ain't supposed to be in the United States. For some reason, there's American citizens that are upset because the U.S. government, through its various channels, is literally doing what they're supposed to do. They're removing people from the United States that ain't supposed to be here. Now, I understand people are making making this like a political thing. Okay, and I guess politics is gonna have to get touched at the end of the day. Now, it seems like Renee Good was on the side of the illegal immigrant. That's what it seems like, based on what I'm picking up. It seems like Renee Good was on the side of the illegal immigrant. All right? Now, see, y'all thought white people didn't like criminals. They try to put a perspective out there. They try to put propaganda out there to make you think that the average white person don't like criminals. Well, no, I guess it just depends. Because based on what I've seen, it seemed like she was on the side of the criminals. Who are the criminals? The illegal people who came to America and they are not supposed to be here. Now, is there a way to get in America legally? Yes. Did they care? No. They said they're going to do what they want to do when they want to do it. And you as Americans, y'all just going to have to deal with it. And it looks like Renee Good was feeling that. Renee Good likes some level of chaos. Now, I'm not saying she's wrong for having her opinion. I understand people trying to politicize it. I'm saying as a citizen of America, she has a right to take the illegal side. She has a right to support criminals. Okay? She does have a right to support criminals. All right? Now, should she be killed for supporting criminals? Nah, I'm not saying she should be killed for supporting criminals. All that kind of depends, too. How much support did you give the criminals? All right? Now, a lot of people are making issues of, how this kind of went down. Some ICE agents approached the vehicle she was in. She wasn't trying to hear what they had to say. She wasn't trying to study them. Now, let's keep in mind, y'all, it looks, based on what I saw, it looks like she was trying to block traffic to a certain degree. Some cars were still able to get around her, but it looks like the attempt, it looks like the attempt was for her to block traffic. There was an attempt for her to slow down the folks involved with ICE because they were behind. She was in front of where the vehicles would end up going. The direction their vehicles would end up going, she was behind all that. Well, she was in front of that. Okay. So it looks like, based on how she was turning in the street, because I'm going to tell you what, y'all. I'm going to tell you what. It didn't look like a U-turn. No way in this picture did I see it where it looks like she's trying to do a U-turn. Doesn't look like she's trying to go the opposite way her vehicle was at first. So now you got to ask yourself a question. If she's just trying to block traffic and she's trying to stop these ICE agents from doing what they're supposed to do, do you think that's going to happen without a response? Okay. Do you really believe that's going to happen without a response? Y'all, this is what my dad called being dead wrong. Okay. You got to make decisions. Some of your decisions can put you in some consequences that's a little worse than other decisions. And at the end of the day, whether she was wrong or right, she was dead wrong. Now, all I can say, she better than me, because I ain't finna die over no illegal immigrants. That's me. Okay. I ain't gonna die over no illegal immigrants. Not me. Okay. I don't get what the love of I don't get this love for illegal immigrants that some people have. Okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. And they got a right to love these illegal immigrants. I ain't saying they can't. I don't get it. I know I don't love them like that. I love them just like regular human beings, the way God say love everybody. I got them there. But protesting for an illegal immigrant to come into your country, why would I do something like that? I don't know. Okay. I haven't figured out a good reason for me to protest for an illegal immigrant to come into America. Now, people have different perspectives. Okay. So I'm not saying people ain't entitled to their perspectives. Okay. But am I going to go and do what I can to, quote unquote, impede people trying to get rid of illegal immigrants? No, I wouldn't do that, because it just don't make sense to me. Okay. Now, I understand sometimes laws don't make sense. Okay. Sometimes laws do need to, you need to remove certain laws. But I'm pretty sure I'm never going to say we should just remove all laws and say just anybody who wants to can come into America. Why would I say something like that? How is that good for the country? If anybody can come in, now see, this is the thing, and this ain't to the immigrants outside of America. See, we got a problem where we give away stuff in America. Okay, we got a problem. We give away stuff. People get these forms of welfare, even businesses, that nobody should be getting. All right. Now, if those things didn't exist and then people came over to America and had to make it on nothing without the aid of taxpayers, probably think about this much differently. All right. I probably think about it much different, because I know everybody who come over, they came to make it on their own. They didn't come to take advantage of the taxpayers and get stuff out the government so they can build some type of life that they could have built somewhere else, or in their perspective, they just can't build it somewhere else. So they came to America to have, quote unquote, the American dream. And we got to remember, y'all, the American dream is this perspective that some people have outside of this country. And they think all I got to do is get to America and I can make it. Okay. And truth be told, because of the type of government we have, some of them can make it because the U.S. government is going to give them the money to make it. Okay. Now, for some reason, they can't afford to give reparations, but they can afford to support illegal immigrants coming over. Ain't that about nothing? Ain't that about nothing? Now, people can feel how they want to feel about this. You got people like Renee, who obviously thinks it's a good idea that illegals can come over here and they don't have to do it the right way, because there is a right way to do it. And do I know the process of becoming a naturalized citizen in America? No, I don't know it, but I know it exists. I don't need to know it because I was born here. Okay? I didn't have to go through a naturalization process. Am I 100% against immigrants coming to America? No, we got a process. Just use the process. Now, I can understand some American citizens taking a stand saying the process is bad or the process is wrong, but I'm going to tell you the straight up truth. I don't ever hear that. What I've yet to hear was any American present that the process we have for illegal immigrants to come into our country and be naturalized is somehow a bad process. I ain't never heard nobody say that. I ain't saying it wasn't said, but I ain't never heard it once. So now, as a person who's never heard it once, I'm just thinking, what's the big deal? Why don't you just come in the right way? If they give you a right path to come over here, why don't you just take that right path? Now, this is the thing. Again, you have an American citizen who obviously says that they should be able to come over the way they want to based on what we know about her. Okay, now we didn't get a personal story from her, but based on what we know, she good with these immigrants coming over the wrong way. She's happy about it. She's cool with it. She wants to, give the impression that this should be something that's allowed in this particular country, and we should smile about it. Now, that's her right. Now, the thing is, you're doing what you can to impede the progress of people who have a job to get rid of illegal immigrants. That's how they get paid. All right. Now, whether we like it or not, y'all, this is the reality of the situation. You got people who are paid money to round up illegal immigrants so they can get pushed out the country. That's how they make their money. I'm not going to say it's wise to get between people and how they make their money if you do not have a proper leg to stand on. Now, I heard people saying, well, she's an American. What the heck does her being American got to do with her trying to get in the way of people trying to do their job? There's plenty of Americans, yet you still shouldn't be just getting in the way of someone trying to do their job if you don't have a reasonable. If you can't come up with a reasonable actions about this. What's the reason you want to get in the ICE agent's way? What is the reason for it? All right. Now, the lady got killed. Now, I understand it's supposed to be a big deal. I do get that it's supposed to be a big deal. Okay. She white. Is it really that big a deal? So a white person kills a white person because you got a white person trying to, she's taking the side, based on the information I heard, she's taking the side of the immigrants who are coming to the country illegally. So she support criminals. Okay. So you got a white woman who supports criminal activity. All right. Up to the point that she down for the cause at the end of the day. She wants to get in the way of the people who have a job to gather these people up and get them out the country. Now, I don't know who was paying Renee to do this. I don't know. Because you would have to pay me to go against the country for no real reason. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this, y'all. Okay. And I know they may not really touch on this in other places. Okay. But I've heard and I've seen a lot of stuff where people who live an alternative lifestyle think they better than everybody else. I'm saying based on actions that I see, you know, like if you have a man who wants to be perceived as a woman, there are men who say, well, even though you're not part of the LGBT community, you need to call me a woman, even though I'm a man. Okay. And even though you look at them, you see a man, they're a man. Clearly, they say, no, but I'm better than you. So you should call me what I perceive myself to be, not what I am, but what I perceive myself to be. Now, my thing is, this America, you got the right to call yourself whatever you want to. What that got to do with my right to tell the truth? Okay, what does that have to do with my right to tell the truth? If you want to be called a man, that's your business. You say that amongst your friends will call you a man. Cool, 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 cool. I understand. It's always people who want somebody else to do something for them. I want people to do stuff for me. I want Elon Musk, for example, to give me $1 billion. I want that. But I wouldn't try to impede with Elon Musk's progress with anything he's doing, because I think he's supposed to just give me $1 billion just because I want it. You know, I want Jeff Bezos to give me $1 billion. But would I go and try to impede his progress of doing what he's doing just because I want him to personally give me $1 billion? No. So what's the issue? That's my thing. What is the issue? Now, at the end of the day, whether you consider her right or wrong, she was dead wrong. And sometimes you got to be dead wrong to be right. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to be dead wrong to be right. Now, I don't know what Renee was fighting for other than illegal immigrants coming into the country. So I'm gonna just say, based on what I know about her and based on this attitude that some LGBT people have, and I'm not saying she particularly happens to have that attitude, I would know. I can only go from what the little information we have about her, because she's a whole person. She lived a whole life. But I will say this, the fact that she was not trying to turn her vehicle around and go in the opposite direction leads me to believe she's one of these gay people that believes she's better than other people. Now, what's the thing? No, this ain't about her being gay. It's about people with a mentality that they're better than other people and they can do things that other people can't do. And just because they are who they are, everybody else is supposed to bow down. Now, is this because she happens to be part of an LGBT community? It could be, but it could just be the fact that she's white. Let's keep it real, y'all. White supremacy been going on in this country before this country was established as the country that it is. So it may have nothing to do with the fact that she's gay. It could. It may just have something to do with the fact that she's white. No matter which one you pick, it looks like she thinks she's better than other folk. So now you have some ICE agents that approach her. They ain't feeling what she on. They tell her to get out the vehicle. She decides, no, I'm not getting out the vehicle. Now, I don't know if you really got to get out the vehicle for an ICE agent or not. I don't really know that. Okay. I know they're federal agents. I have not really looked into ICE like that because ain't really been my issue to deal with. Okay. Now, what I also know about a lot of folks in law enforcement, they think they better than other people. Okay. Let's keep that real too now. We ain't got to be fake or phony about that. Renee, based on her actions, thinks she's better than other people. The officer, based on his actions, think he's better than other people. So now you got one person think they better than other people, facing another person who think they better than other people, and they have some type of clash. Now, the issue is, one of these people had a gun. All right. One of these people had a gun. The other one did not. Now, I know people are fighting about, was Renee trying to use her car as a weapon? I get it. I get it. Based on the stuff that I saw when she first started moving the vehicle after these ICE agents approached her, was one in front of the vehicle. Yeah. I did. One was in front. Was she trying to use her car as a weapon? Man, I don't even care. Okay. Well, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna be nice. Okay. Was she trying to use her car as a weapon? Based on what I can tell, yes. I'm gonna say that, y'all. I'm gonna say yes. When you start driving forward when somebody's in front of you and you're not trying to give them room to get out the way. Now, people gonna say, well, she didn't take off fast. I'm looking at this from a realistic standpoint. She was in a turn position she got in the way of people for traffic reasons based on, her commitments. Okay. She got a right to value whatever she wants to value as an American citizen. I ain't saying she don't. She clearly did not turn the vehicle, so she wasn't trying to go in the other direction at all. When the vehicle started going again, she started going in the same direction the vehicle was pointed before she decided to try to block traffic. So I know she's not going back the other way. That's clear. Okay. ICE agent tell her to get out the vehicle. She thinks she's better than the ICE agent. The ICE agent think he's better than her. But again, one got a gun and the other one don't. So when she goes for it and she just didn't care whether the other ICE agent was going to get hit or not. That's what it seems like to me. Was she per se trying to kill him? Maybe, maybe not. She just didn't care he was in the way. Now that seemed clear to me. She didn't care that she was in the way. Now, one guy, he pulled out a gun to shoot at her. And technically, you have a right to defend people if you think somebody else is truly in danger. So now, I've said stuff about this before, which is why I understand I've lost some channels in the past. Fear for my life is an excuse that a lot of people make that's in some level of law enforcement, but you're in law enforcement. Shooting because you fear for your life is not even reasonable. But a lot of American people, they are stupid about that particular thing. You think that a person who signed up for a job, knowing that they may get killed on the job, can use the excuse of I fear for my life to start shooting people. So you you supported a problem. When this was first presented, people started talking about I fear for my life. My only stance has been, who cares you a cop? Who cares if you fear for your life? That's the job. Now, if you are a federal agent, same thing for you. That's the job. You go to the military, yes, you may be in a position where you fear for your life. That's the job. You join the Marines, you may be in a situation where you fear for your life. That's the job. Okay? You become a federal ICE agent. There'll be things that come up where you may fear for your life. That's the job. So what we have is people who think they better than everybody else clashing. And I understand it because these are white people. So I'm looking at this from a perspective of what I see white people doing. A lot of LGBT folks think they better than other people. I mean, Dave Chappelle was having some issues with this. The LGBT people want to be a quote unquote part of society, but they think Dave Chappelle can't tell jokes about it. But he can tell jokes about everybody else who's part of society, but you can't tell jokes about the LGBT. Now, I am not saying that Renee was definitely one of these people. I'm just saying, based on the action, she clearly thought she was better than the ICE agents. She clearly thought that. Okay. It ain't about me. It's about what Renee thought. She thought she was better than them, and the ICE agents thought they were better than her. So now you got these groups of people who think they better than other people. Renee don't care that guys in front of her. She finna take off because that's what she want to do. Now, was it right for the ICE agent to tell her to get out the car? I don't know. I just don't know. But I know that doesn't give you permission to hit the guy who was in front of you, at least at first. Now, the guy who pulls out the gun that was on the side, because I believe he's the one that got her. Was he right? Not necessarily. Look like they just white people being white people. What do I know about white people from a general standpoint? Not personally, but from a general standpoint. They like to kill, steal, and destroy. They like a perception accepted about them that they should not be questioned. So it seemed to me Renee believes she shouldn't be questioned. It also seems to me that the agents feel like they shouldn't be questioned. And now you got a bunch of people who feel like nobody should question them. Simply have a clash, and now you got a dead white lady. What you expect to happen? This is white people acting like white people. It's just one happened to have a gun. Now, to say this is a big deal, now I understand in the context that a life was lost, I'm never going to say losing a life is a bad thing. I mean, I'm not going to say losing a life in the big deal in a certain context. But as a black person, I'm glad she wasn't black. I'm glad it wasn't nobody that y'all going to call a nigga. And I'm talking to you, certain people out there. I'm glad it wasn't somebody y'all going to call a nigga who got shot. Because guess what? If a nigga got shot, most of y'all would care. Y'all would be talking about where she shouldn't have been bothering the ICE agent. You know? So at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff is going to be somewhat cultural. I get people trying to make it a political thing, but if you cool with the agents of this country messing up black people, I mean, you got to take one for the team. That's all it is. Now y'all taking one for the team. You want people to be able to bother black people, and it's be fine. And I'm really talking about black men, because they don't really bother black women like that. But you like people having this power that they can bother black men. So now that power then came on to some random white lady. To me personally, in my heart, this story is not a big deal. But I'm a content creator. I'm a great content creator, so I'm covering it anyway. This ain't no big deal. This is when you like corrupt stuff, every once in a while, that corruption gonna come on you and yours. And that's all this really is to me. The ICE agent treated her like a nigga. Well, y'all gonna have to treat one or two of y'all like a nigga at some point. You know, you got to. It's part of the game. When you have a corrupt system that treats black men like niggas, then guess what? Somebody else gonna have to get treated like a nigga at some point too. It just happens to be Renee at this time. But I'm gonna say this. It's hard to find a black man that's gonna be doing the stuff she doing. Because I don't see black men just driving their car trying to block people and all that. I don't see black men supporting people who came into the country illegally. Why would we? It's illegal. And it's not like it's the type of illegal where you're stopping somebody else from having a right. It's not like slavery where you're treating people inhumane. No, we just have a rule. You got to go through this process to be a part of our country. That's not cruel and unusual punishment to anybody. That's it. If you want to be a part of the clique, you got to get jumped in. And because getting jumped in ain't that hard to do, because people can study for it and pass an exam. I do know that part. You study some stuff, you pass some exams, next thing you know, you become a naturalized citizen. That's how you get jumped in. So you telling me studying too much? Nah, I ain't worried about people who don't want to study to come into the country. If it were up to me, they'd already be gone anyway. So I'm not saying ICE is a problem, but I do get the particular ICE agent thought they was better than other people. So now Renee is dead. But Renee thought she was better than other people, which is also why she's dead. She was just dead wrong. That's all. She tried it. And sometimes when you tried it, don't work out. But let me turn it over to my two guests. Y'all can get in any way you want to in this particular subject matter. Yeah, I understand some of this is political, which, to me, it ain't that big a deal in the context of the grand scheme of things. But I understand why it's a big deal, because their life was lost. But Great Black Reset, you were here first, so you got the mic, and we'll get Shark Sims in right behind you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got my favorite shark coming behind me today. I want to start at where Roger was wrong. You know, he right most of the time, but I'm gonna start where he was wrong at first.
Starting off hate, but go ahead.
Absolutely. I got to represent for Gold P, man. What's happening? What's happening? um, in as in the fear of the officer's life. Now that ain't part of the job, and I'm gonna give you an example of what I'm talking about. If you break in my house, let's just say you're a 3 foot midget, you break in my house, you got a screwdriver, I got a gun. I'm gonna kill you. I know I can defeat you hand to hand. I know you don't have a chance. I'm gonna kill you. You know why? You broke in my house. I have to set an example to the rest of the neighborhood that this is a bad thing to do. I'm in fear of my life and in fear of what you might do to my wife and my children. I got to kill you. It ain't about whether I think you can defeat me or not. I'm in fear of my life. And sometimes you're in the fear of other people's life. So I got to kill you, even though I know I can defeat you and hold you down and get you arrested. I got to kill you because you gave me the opportunity. What happened here was the blue hair bandit gave the officer an opportunity. That's what she did. She struck him with a 4,300 pound vehicle. She gave that man an opportunity. He took his opportunity. I say, you know what? He was quick on his wrong, within time, and it ain't even question. It's a good shooting, bro. It's a good shooting. So yes, in fear of their life or in fear of life of others, they doing their job. She might drive down the street and run somebody else over after she run him over. You got to kill him. You got to. And the only reason she didn't run him over is because they was on ice. She was spinning out, trying to run him over. He slid because they wasn't on ice. Good shooting. And last but not least, she has several stickers on the back of her vehicle on the right and the left hand side of the windshield. The one on the left hand side, one of them on the left hand side said, I like my ice crushed. How's that for irony?
As an American, she has a right to buy any sticker she want to buy. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Man. She
I'm
has a
gonna
right to
land
buy whatever
and
sticker she wants to buy.
I'm gonna land my plane there. I like the rest of it you was talking about, but she gave him the opportunity, man.
Okay. Well, before I rebuttal that, I'm going to go ahead and let Shark get in because that's what I said I'm going to do. So, Shark, go ahead, my brother. I get to this hate later.
How you fellas doing today?
What's happening, man? What's happening?
Happy Tuesday. I just want to say this is Shark Sims from Nigga News Network reporting live for the Roger Report from the streets. My cameraman ain't here. He had to take his baby mama out. You know, we got things to do. But I just want to say that the only thing I have pushback for Roger on is the ICE agent thinking he's better. No, that's his job. He has to do his job because if he don't do his job, he's gonna be fired and he ain't gonna be able to feed his children. But as for Renee, LGBTQ, has 3 kids. Only one is in her custody, which is the one that was at school while she was out acting a fool with her husband. All right. They were defending the person that they was trying to get at that specific moment was a guy named Muhammad Abdul Yusuf. He has a first-degree sexual assault, and he's convicted of this crime. And he also has active warrants. I say that to say this is literally a side effect of Trump derangement syndrome. These people hate this administration so much that they are doing everything to make it to go against it, and they're not even understanding. They're not at a bakery taking out a young lady who's in the back making bagels, and you know what I mean. And she's a illegal immigrant. They don't even know who they're protecting. They were literally protecting a person who commits sexual assaults on people and has active warrants. This is a case of F around and find out. There are videotapes of her actually blocking up traffic, honking, leaning on the horn in a residential area. While Roger's trying to do his Roger Report live and we're hearing horns in the back, that's Renee. leaning on the horn, dancing behind the steering wheel, antagonizing these people. Her girlfriend, her husband, is out of the car antagonizing another person. You know how these cameras do. They always got their video camera in your face, talking hella shit, and you see it's a video of you seeing the ICE agents getting out of their car, walking up to her car, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose. And homeboy's like, yo, she's talking so much stuff, she don't even realize what's going on behind her, that her wife is about to get shot. Next thing you know, oh my God, what happened? It's all my fault. I should have never had her out here. No, you shouldn't have never had her out there. She should have been in the house folding laundry, waiting for her child to get out of school so she could go pick him up. This is literally a case of people being stupid, acting stupid, and not understanding what stupid stuff will get you.
All right, now I'm gonna say real quickly, and I shout out to you for that, Shark. Acting a fool says, Mansion, he should have fired his gun in the air. Common sense. No, brother. You fire your gun in the air, that bullet can come down and hit any particular person. No, that was not the time to fire your gun in the air. I understand in certain situations it makes sense. This wasn't a big enough event for somebody to just be firing in the air. And so I don't think that was the right move to make because of what the circuit. This is not like a giant crowd of people or anything like that. So I don't think that would have been the best move to make. Now I'm gonna say, when it comes to the fear for your life, now my thing is you don't need a fear for my life thing involved. Now, as the Great Black Reset said, somebody came into his house, he got an opportunity. See, I don't need the fear for my life. All you need to do is give me an opportunity. Your feeling about it don't make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You broke in somebody's house, you got killed. What I felt when you got killed means nothing. You were in the wrong place at the right time for me to get you. That's all it is. Fear for your life is never an excuse when you are a professional. And my thing is, black people should never accept that as an excuse from any professional. Some jobs, fearing for your life, come with the job. If you don't want the job, don't apply.
Now you're right, Roger. See, you triggered my trap card there, boss. See, it ain't about the fear for her life. She struck him with the car. Opportunity.
I hear what you're saying, but
I just got to
right
tell the judge to put a little icing on the cake, fear for my life.
I mean, if you are a professional, ain't no I fear for my life anything with me. And I think any citizens that let that ride, you just asking for trouble. But I'm gonna slow down because I got 3 other guests that came up. So we're gonna give it to Black Uru, and then Tunnel Runner will get you in, and then the champ is here. We'll get you in right after Tunnel Runner. Black Uru, you have the mic, my brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Roger. I hope you, the gentlemen on the panel, folks in the public chat, well. I have some complex views or maybe somewhat contradictory, I don't know, views about what happened here. I mean, am I particularly concerned that some white woman was killed by ICE agents? Not really in the grand scheme of things. I mean, as was what Cam character said in Paid in Full, I forget his name. Niggas get shot every day.
Niggas get shot every day. You be alright.
Niggas get shot every day, B. You be alright. And then you gotta bite your chicken.
I mean, that unfortunately that was not the case for her. But I mean, people get shot and unfortunately get killed every day. So, while we're all kvetching about, this incident, like right at this very moment, like, 100 people are probably being shot in America somewhere. So it's only so much, some particular incident like this I should be concerned about. I am concerned about the mission creep that this kind of event can cause. I mean, the more you approve of what a quote bully end quote does, the more that bully will do. And I am concerned that if we're gonna let scot-free these kinds of incidents to occur, I just think there are going to be more of them, and I think they're going to creep into other areas. And so that's why I'd be somewhat cautious about like totally rubber stamping what happened there. I think for all of our sake, I mean, what's done is done, but for all of our sake, I don't think we should be too flippant about letting, suppose it. I mean, because here's the other thing too. I mean, it's like some confusion about who those guys really are. I mean, you hear some of these folks may be from that place in the Middle East, and so I mean, even who are these people? Like, so I'd be careful about being too supportive of what the ICE agents did there. But am I overly concerned about this particular, like the white woman they found dead here recently in Chicago? I mean, how many women are going to go missing in a particular day in America? Probably hundreds. So that's as far as I'm going to go with this individual thing. But I am more concerned about the potential mission creep that this will that will ensue from. So I have some complex views about it.
Now I'm gonna jump in and say, shout out to Double Edge Logic. Okay. Now I don't remember you being here before, so I think sometimes guys y'all just make silly statements because you just want to be right or just want to be involved. And there is a link. It ain't like you can't hit the link and join the panel. But I'm gonna read this comment because this is silly. He says, "You just glad," and I'm reading this with the impression he ain't never even been here before. If this is a him at all, okay. Now the avatar is black, but that don't mean it's a black person. Could be. I would like to see, but Double Edge Logic says, "You just glad to see something happen to." Now I'm pretty sure he meant to say someone other than us. Laugh out loud. Your life's still the same though. Nothing changed for black people. Is what I'm pretty sure he meant to say. Now, Double Edge Logic, I'm gonna say, what kind of dumb statement is that? You think if something happens to somebody that's not my people, I'm supposed to not be glad about that? Like, you, in order to quote unquote shock people or just say stuff to be on white people's side, bro, this don't make no sense. So you just glad to see something happen to somebody other than us, like I shouldn't be? Basically, what you saying is I should have been rooting that something bad happened to a black person. That's where you coming from, which makes no level of sense whatsoever.
But you never said that though, Roger. So
I know, and that's exactly why I'm pointing the statement out to show the stupidity in the statement.
Yeah, nobody's happy that a white lady got shot.
No. My thing is, it is extremely stupid to tell a person that to suggest to a person that they shouldn't be glad that a terrible thing didn't happen to you or your people. What type of stupidity goes with that statement? I mean, that's a mass level of stupidity. Why wouldn't I be good? So somebody died last week and it wasn't my brother. I shouldn't be glad about that. Somebody gonna die today. It ain't my dad. I shouldn't be glad about that. I mean, people gotta die. It is what it is. Why would I not be happy that it ain't my people or people that I'm closer to? So the stupidity in this statement, trying to be on what I personally believe is this, I'm trying to be on white people's side. This is a mass level of stupidity in this statement. And you say your life still the same though. Nothing changed for black people. What you meant to say? What the heck does that got to do with anything?
But Roger, remember when we reviewed the Superman movie and Lex Luthor had a bunch of monkeys on like just spamming people's accounts, like spamming Superman? You don't even know if this is a real person until they call in. So why don't even waste your time on it?
No. That's the reason for the invite. See, it's a very dumb thing to say. And because I don't want to just perceive that black people are really this stupid, I'd rather invite you to the panel so you can explain stuff so everybody don't have a perception that you just like a new idiot that showed up. Because I don't want everybody thinking that about you. Okay? You basically said it like you a new idiot that came here. Now, my show is for intelligent people. Now, we do accept dummies, but I do recommend for dummies to kind of be quiet till they get a sense of what's going on here. And maybe you've been listening from the clouds. But the whole thing is what you said just didn't make sense. Now, I'm going to say this, y'all. He said, no, you can't comprehend, bro. Besides, I was talking to one of your chats. No, brother, I do comprehend. That's why I pointed you out. Your thing about I can't comprehend is a defense because you said something incredibly stupid. And it doesn't make a difference who you're talking to. At the end of the day, whoever you directed it to, because I'm going to pretend like you directed somebody in the chat since that's what you said. Why wouldn't they be glad that it happened to somebody other than them or people that they're attached to? It doesn't make sense for them not to be glad about that. So it was a dumb statement, period. That's simple at the end of the day. Now, let me let these other guys get in. Tunnel Runner, you got the mic.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say the poor white woman just needed a black man in her life to guide her. Was unguided. She needed somebody to guide her on how to make it through this life. And she would know that she shouldn't be doing that to what she was doing. She just needs some guidance. Two women probably didn't help out. If she had a man, a good black man, he would have told her, just keep your nose out of that people's business and you just take the kid to school and keep it moving.
You got that right. You got that right.
So all she needs to do is probably, change up her sexual deviancy and, maybe she could find somebody.
Well, it's too late. She gonna have to find
Yeah.
a nigga in heaven.
Yeah, she's gonna have to spend second life.
Next lifetime.
All I'm going to say is, now I don't know nothing about her. I'm just going to throw it out there. Everybody don't make it in heaven. I'm just throwing it out there. But let's give it to the champ. Champ, you got it, brother.
Hey, what's going on, Roger? How you doing? Hope you are doing all right.
I'm doing fantastic. I didn't get shot today, nor my friends got shot today. My family didn't get shot today, and I'm glad about it.
That's very good. That's what you want to hear, because every day, you just don't know when the time is now and everything, because God doesn't discriminate and everything. But let me just say this. I don't mind seeing white folks, particularly white women, marching on the side of us as we get ready. Excuse me, as we get ready for the for Dr. Martin Luther King's national holiday is coming up next week. I don't mind seeing us, marching hand in hand with white folks and everything else, singing "We Shall Overcome," because there has been a history of a lot of these white civil rights, human rights activists who have tragically gotten killed from white folks. Those two civil rights workers who were trying to register black folks to vote in Mississippi who were murdered. This one white woman who was from the state of Michigan who went to Selma, Alabama, and was unfortunately beaten and lynched by members of the Ku Klux Klan in Selma, Alabama in 1965. So I don't mind them doing all the work, marching with us and everything else and trying to make this country better. At the same time, this issue right now with ICE, what she was doing with the car and everything else, no way in hell she shouldn't have done that. It would have been just been best if she was with the crowd, peaceful demonstration rather than just, driving your car. I don't know. It didn't look like she was trying to use it as a weapon, but, ICE could use that as an excuse to fire at you. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, where we are in this day and age, these folks right now, we're on the edge and everything else. We're in at the edge at a time. We're at a time period right now that we are in an authoritarian rule. There are going to be many people, these folks and everything else from ICE and everything else. They're not just there to, just to serve, the country and everything else. They're there to go up there and potentially use their weapon whenever necessary and everything based on their political views. So RIP to Mrs. Good, but there's another method, when you do a peaceful demonstration.
Yeah, I could agree.
Okay.
And you know what? Black people don't do that. We just see the SWAT team coming to Jerome house, and we call that nigga on the phone like, "Yo, Jerome, they coming." We don't jump our black asses out there and say, you know what I mean? So I don't understand what they out there doing. That's crazy.
Well, they're trying to help illegal immigrants. That's what the bottom line is. They're trying to assist illegal immigrants, which I don't understand how that makes any level of sense. Shout out to Terenzo Jones. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. He says, good reply, Roger. Granted that not every response deserves a reaction. The irony of a double-edged sword. Salute. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. And I'm going to say, I see what you did right there. I see what you did right there. But appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, no, the thing is, y'all, there always be some people coming in from time to time just saying some stuff that don't make sense. And, sometimes I'm going to hit one of them just to kind of give the other ones a message, and that's all it really be. But, people who don't make a lot of sense, ain't really a lot you can do with them. But I'm glad they at least smart enough to sit here and listen. If they ain't nothing else going right in their nothing else is going right in their life, they're at least smart enough to sit here and listen. So I got to give them some points for that. All right, we got Bad Black Gamer in the building. You got it, my brother.
Hey, good morning to you, fellas. Hopefully my sound's coming through okay.
You fine, brother. You fine.
I appreciate it. I ain't never got the chance to say this to you, but your intro into the Roger Report is like one of the best intros I've ever seen on this social media, on YouTube and TikTok. So, I don't even be listening to what you be saying for like the first 10 minutes of the show because I be replaying your intro, with the Joker coming in, dancing, and then the, and the guy, the activist, complaining about aim your guns at me. I'm like, that's some powerful stuff right there. That'd be motivating me in the morning. Tip of the hat for you for that, sir.
Appreciate you, brother.
Putting that together.
Appreciate it.
But what I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna compare this to two other incidents. January the 6th, where the white lady stormed the cabin and got shot by the Secret Service guy, and another incident like the Charleston one where the guy got in his car. I guess he got railed up and he decided to put his foot on the gas and ram into a bunch of people and killed that one white lady. These are kind of like similar incidents to me where like it's basically like white people doing too much. You know what I'm saying? And then they suffering the consequences of those things. You know what I'm saying? And I think what it is like this is an example of like of their entitlement. Like they believe they can just do and do whatever and not expect any consequences for those things. And when I put all three together, I noticed that like, a white woman was killed in all three incidents. So I'm just thinking to myself, maybe white women should sit down and take a back seat to some things and quit trying to be out in front because they seem to catch the bad the bad end of it, when they trying to protest and things of that nature. But I'm all for protesting, but it's like you can't like be using your vehicle as a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Not expect consequences. And I think this is really just all three of these cases, because both of them you can say one side was like liberal, the other side was more conservative or whatever, but in all three cases, it was kind of like these were tragedies because people, basically white people feeling like they're entitled and they can't catch these consequences. Because in the black community, we know like you mess with the police, you gonna F around and find out sometimes. So it's to our better. It's for us to protest and what should I say, non-violently. It's better, it's better that way than try to think we're going to just get in the car and just try to like run people over. So I think that's really what this is all about, is that, they just entitled, like, and that entitlement is carrying over and getting them killed in these situations because they think that they're not entitled to consequences as well. But I'll go ahead and land my plane there.
He made a great point because
Look, there is one element here that I don't. Again, this is kind of a complex thing to me because part of this is like let's say you have a friend that you've known for 30 years. Have lived in your community, your children grew up together.
Well, Black Rule, hold on one second, because I got to say this and get this particular super chat off the screen. Okay, shout out to Detroit 313. He says, keep in mind, Renee Good is a registered child abuser on her rap sheet. It was clearly self-defense. Now I'm gonna say the self-defense part. I get that was a joke. Is she a registered child abuser? That I don't know because I didn't look into her criminal history. But I do kind of get that some black people might dig up people's criminal history because how they be doing black folks, especially black men when you have a news broadcast or something like that. So I'm gonna say Detroit 313. Before y'all say something like that in the super chat, because I don't know what you did, make sure it's the truth, okay?
Oh,
because
I'm on it right now for you, Roger.
we need to make sure statements like that are actual the truth, or is it just internet nonsense? Because people will say anything about anybody on the internet. So if y'all gonna say stuff like that, make sure you seen a verified record of it. It wasn't just somebody making up stuff. Now I'm gonna say she is a white woman, so it wouldn't be shocking, you know what I'm saying? But we do need to know if it's the truth or not, because people would take that super chat and then act like, well, the Roger Report is promoting misinformation. So I'm just saying, if y'all gonna super chat that, and I don't mind a super chat, let's keep that real. But y'all, we gotta remember, we don't want false narratives. We don't want false narratives, and people on the internet say all kinds of stuff. Now I hate to interrupt you, Black Rule. Hopefully you have not lost your thought, because I do want you to say it. But I didn't want to have that out in case it wasn't true. So please go ahead, Black Rule.
Oh no, that's a very important point. That was a very important point you made. So I'm glad you made it. I think there is an element of this because maybe we're not experiencing it in our personal lives that I think bears some acknowledgement. Because if I've lived in the community with someone for, like I say, 20, 30 years, they've been good people. Our children have grown up together. They are in every way, friends, even whatever. Maybe even our relatives have dated each other, that kind of thing. And then some government outfit rolls in and just snatches them and just gets ready to drive off with them somewhere. I might not be especially orderly or especially friendly towards those people. See, it's one way to look at this, and it's one thing to look at this objectively, totally third party. I have no connection to it at all. If somebody did that to one of my neighbors, I might, in the heat of a moment, respond very aggressively towards those people. So I mean, and because of that, I think we need to be a little more. It's just I don't know who these people are. We're moving in a dangerous direction. Now I know we say we black folks and we've always been in danger. Yeah, whatever. But if they're gonna be shooting white folks dead down on the streets, that's ain't none of us will live through that.
Well, can I pose a question?
So I don't want to necessarily be too cavalier about what's happening here, because ain't none of us lived through this.
Well, can I pose a question though?
And I ain't lived through that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: you remember the Elian Gonzalez thing that happened during the Clinton administration, where it was like the Cuban kid that went in there, and that was the American government.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't American government now, but it was American government doing that, and that was like a whole political situation. Mm-hmm. And those people wanted to fight and not get that kid up back in Cuba, and they was ready to like basically have us go to war over one child. Like I mean, some of these things be political.
That was one overly sensationalized event. I mean, but this is you got ICE people all freaking throughout the country snatching
But
people up,
but
and
this
in
is an
some
overly
cases,
sensationalized
bro,
event too, Uru.
hold on now. They are snatching people up who are citizens, and oh my bad after the fact.
Well,
So I think we just need to we need to slow down a little bit. This shit is special. This is not something any of us have gone through.
So
This
can I
is
pose a
unique.
question? Can I pose a question to you, Uru?
Sure,
All right, we
sure.
have all of these illegal people running through our streets, right? How does ICE know who they are? Like, so you saying they snatching up regular people, and um and they like, oh shit, after the fact, and they let them go, right? As an
Yeah.
American citizen, if I've been in New York City with stop and frisk, and as an American citizen, if your ass ain't got no ID on you, they would take your ass down, fingerprint you, and if your fingerprints came back clean, they would let you right out.
See, you're putting this. You gotta be careful with your analogies, brother. That's NYPD. It's all under the jurisdiction of the mayor. It's all very local political issue. They take the shit too far out of line. You got uh, Al Sharpton and whatever. That's a whole different thing than the fucking modern Gestapo rolling through town snatching folks up with masks on. You don't even know who the hell they are. You're not getting no badge numbers. You're not getting no names or nothing.
and I got to
That shit
insist,
is dangerous. That is fucking dangerous. That means that
Actually,
any
that's
of us can
Gestapo, but
walk
they're not
out our
ending up in
house.
concentration
These
camps.
motherfuckers can roll up. These motherfuckers can roll up on us walking out of our house,
Yeah, but they're not
grab us,
ending up in
snatch us in there,
concentration
then
camps.
make up some shit, and then make up some shit after the fact.
okay,
Yeah,
now
but calling them Gestapo that's a reach, Black Uru. That's a
what,
That's a
big
reach.
reach.
That's a reach,
what,
Black
Yeah,
well,
Guru.
I'm
hold on,
sure.
They're not. They're
hold
not
on,
either
real,
I'm
Gustapos.
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure it was a fucking reach in 1929, 1930. It was a reach. It wasn't a reach in 1934 and 1935.
Well,
Now I'm gonna say we
Yeah.
also have to look and examine what the examples are because when they were doing the stop and frisk in New York, guess what? It was illegal. That's why they stopped. They were literally doing
no,
something.
that wasn't illegal.
It, it's
That was implemented for them to do.
it
They had all rights to do it.
no. It's illegal
It was
because
a constitutionally disputed issue, and it was
Thank you.
reversed because it was deemed unconstitutional.
But they had the permission to do it. So we're gonna be right. We
Well,
gotta be right.
they had
They
the
did have
state
permission to
they
do it.
had the state sanctioning of it, but it was later deemed
yeah,
to be unconstitutional.
yeah.
It
The
was
Constitution
con-
literally
correct.
said that you are not supposed to be searched for no reason. That's literally in the
Yeah,
Constitution is one of the
yeah. I mean,
amendments. So
that's in the first
it was the
amendments,
Fourth
man.
Amendment.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not disagreeing with
The
you
what?
guys. I'm not disagreeing with you
No,
guys at all.
I know you're not disagreeing, but I'm saying even in that because the Constitution made it a thing to say we should not be subject to illegal searches and seizures, and the stop and frisk falls under that. You're stopping and searching and people who have done nothing wrong. They're not suspected of doing anything wrong. You're just doing it at random people. So at the end of the day, it was illegal, even though it was sanctioned for a time.
The
It was
fact
literally illegal.
that New York City got away with that so long, they should be paying out billions of dollars in lawsuits because of that shit that they did.
Yeah,
They should be
because
paying all of y'all for what they did. That shit was unconstitutional, and they knew it was unconstitutional. And what's his name? Your Republican mayors, they didn't give a fuck up there. That's what it was. It was Bloomberg and who was the guy before him?
Rudy
Uh,
Giuliani.
who?
yeah.
I think it was
Yes,
Giuliani.
Giuliani. They didn't give a fuck. Yeah.
Michael Bloomberg.
Everybody who was in charge of that was wrong, and they all knew it was wrong because it's something illegal. It's literally expressed in the Constitution. It's not one of those rights that the Constitution mentions some particular things and said no, and this ain't everything. This is just what we mentioning right now. It's one
And
of the things that was expressly mentioned.
there's a
So
parallel between that and what's going on right now.
so,
Where
Yeah,
but the
motherfuckers sit
Constitution
by
don't.
5, 6, 7 years and some totally illegal and egregious is going down And we're like trying to figure out, well, is it legal or is it not legal? Well, is it legal or is it not legal? Meanwhile, motherfuckers getting violated for almost 10 years.
But
Now,
I'm not that educated. So is the Constitution only applies to American citizens, right? Or
We're
just
black folks. We
anybody on
always got
American
violated.
land?
it's the rule of law in the country, period. So anybody who's here has to submit to that rule of law, period. You know. Now, I'm gonna say this because we're starting to trace a little bit too off track. When it
My
comes
fault.
down to it, you know, these people was messing with the ICE agents. Now, I don't know a whole lot about ICE agents because, like I said, becoming a naturalized citizen has never been my issue. I ain't never looked into it. Okay. Now, were they okay to even ask her to get out the car? I can't even say they was right to do that because even a police officer has to have a reason for police contact. So what would their reason for police contact be? I don't understand for sure, but she was playing in traffic, and she
Wait,
did. The people who actually work for ICE had to go in that direction. So she may have simply opened the door for her to get messed with based on her ego. If I'm better than these other people,
the fact that she was parked in the middle of the street like that deems police interaction.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't know exactly
Yeah,
what
but see
ICE official roles to
what
do.
but did the Minneapolis police come and litigate her traffic violation?
No,
See,
Yeah,
you got some
she was blocking.
jurisdictional issues
She was
here too, fellas.
she was
That's
blocking federal
they're
agents.
not fucking, they're not traffic, but they aren't traffic police.
Uru,
I mean, the proper thing to
The
do
feds
was for
circle.
them, the proper thing for them to do was to radio the police and say, this bitch is in the traffic, and have the MPD come and deal with that. But
Uru, the
since
yeah.
we
feds.
we ready to let these guys roll around here like cowboys, they can be traffic guys, they can be immigration guys, they can be fucking custom guys. We don't even know who they are.
The feds supersede the local
They can be
police.
Mossad. We don't know who the hell these guys are.
I agree with
Good.
you on that, but the feds supersede the local police.
Well, I'm gonna say that you need to have some discussion about who was in the right and what, and that's why I said openly. I don't know what the ICE agent is even cleared to do because can he ask you to step out of a vehicle? You know what I'm saying? Does he even have that as something that he can do? I don't know that that's true because until this illegal immigration stuff came up, I'd never even heard of ICE agents, and that's just being dead serious. Until I heard about so many people trying to protect illegal immigrants, I had never heard of an ICE agent. So that's why I'm not clear on what they can and cannot do because this is
Oh,
my first time
So
even
so we
understanding
willing to
that they
let
even
the
exist.
federal government just say, y'all willing to let the federal government just say, this is a G man, he can do whatever the hell he want to do.
Yeah, and I think
is that
that's
what
Are
you
where
you
you're
saying?
going. No, that obviously goes too far. But I'm not under the impression anybody's really trying to suggest that. I'm not under that impression. Like I said, I think
I'm asking logical questions, and I'm associating those questions with what these people are doing. And I'm saying, okay, they dictating traffic, they dictating the movements of American citizens, they are accosting American citizens. What does accosting American citizens have to do with fucking immigration?
when the American citizens are purposely obstructing them from doing their job, then they get accosted.
You know, what does obstructing
See,
mean?
the problem is
Does just
legal
being
or
just
not, it's
protesting,
consequences.
being on the street protesting? Doesn't
She
the
wasn't
Constitution
protest.
say something
She
about the
guys,
ability?
There's
Don't the
guys,
she
Constitution say
wasn't
something about the
protesting.
ability to
guys.
protest?
I have a super chat up. I gotta read the super chat or they'll lose context. Okay, so let me get the super chat in. Shout out to Landon. Appreciate you, brother. He says, I usually agree with well, he said Uhuru. But illegal immigrants have scammed and ridden the coattails of FBA political accomplishment for far too long. Okay. Now I'm gonna say, even if that's happening, it doesn't really have anything to do with this one particular situation. The way I'm viewing this, Renee acted like a Karen, and she was dead wrong because she acted like a Karen. Now,
That's
did
what I
did
agree to.
ICE have the ability to do what they did? I'm suspecting that they did. That's my suspicion. I don't know for sure because if she's an American citizen and they have no reason to suspect she's not an American citizen, then my first question is, why do you engage with her in the first place?
Bro,
Now,
she's obstructing.
no,
Well, she can't hit
Okay,
people's cars.
hold on. Now, the thing about her trying to obstruct traffic, because she clearly was trying to obstruct traffic, you have to call the right people who are supposed to handle that. So that might have been a situation where they should have called the local police, and the police would handle that because that's their jurisdiction.
Right.
Oh
No,
no,
Right. But you
you
can't hit
federal
guys,
people's cars,
jurisdiction.
though.
Period.
you guys have this very backward
No,
as far as
I'm admitting
jurisdiction.
But
I don't
in
know
Yeah,
because
it's
I don't
because
know
they
it.
in
don't like
in that
they don't
in
like
the
police, so they
incident
just not
in the
understanding this stuff.
incident in the incident in which that woman was shot, she was leaving the
No,
scene.
she wasn't.
No,
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 she
Wasn't
she was
was
she
trying to hit
not.
the guy.
attempting to leave?
No,
So
she
she
was
wasn't.
not.
So
No,
why
she
was
was
her
not.
vehicle
She was
moved?
trying to hit the guy.
Why was her
Uh, uh,
vehicle moved?
She
okay,
was
if
trying to hit the
you,
guy with the vehicle.
I can explain it to you if you give me about 30 seconds.
Well, hold on. Before you explain, look, I'm gonna say everybody just relax a little bit, because at the end of the day, unless you truly know what an ICE agent job is, which I'm admitting I've never even heard of these people until this illegal stuff that made the news. And what I do not get is why American citizens are trying to help illegals. I don't get that. Okay,
I,
unless they
I,
like a personal attachment to you, then I would understand it. This is your cousin, this is your mama, your daddy. I get it. But if they're not attached to you, I don't even see why you care at the end of the day. And I'm going to say ICE agents, even though they're federal, every group, regardless of what they are, Marines, Army, whatever, all of them have only so much that they can do. So if the ICE agent was acting outside of what he's supposed to be able to do, then he just did wrong at the end of the day. I'm saying I don't know that because I don't know what the ICE agent is supposed to be able to do. But go ahead with your explanation, Great Black Reset.
okay, the patrol officers in which you guys are mentioning, they're at the lower level of the spectrum of law enforcement and jurisdiction. It goes from local law enforcement to the sheriff to the state level where you see like state troopers and stuff like that. Then it goes into wildlife conservationists, and then you start going into federal stuff. These federal officers are like FBI agents. I would say the CIA, even though they operate abroad. ICE is like something like DEA, ICE, and FBI have the same level of jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction supersedes the local law enforcement. They can show up to the local law enforcement office and take over the office and tell them this is what you're going to do. This is the type of power that they do have, but they operate in a clandestine fashion where you don't know who they are, and it's to protect their families and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you that's how they operate. I'm from South Florida. I don't see them. They show up to a job site, everything shuts down. Nothing moves. No traffic. It don't matter where you come from, where you going, where you was born, and where you wasn't born. Ain't nothing moving till they say so. I've seen them before. I've been on job sites. I used to work construction when they show up. It's just how it goes. We ain't got to like it. It is what it is. Now, with this woman, what happened was she had been going up and down the street, blocking the officers, the vehicles from coming in and honking the horn, basically to let whoever is in that neighborhood know that ICE is here. This is what they do. They do it in South Florida too. The Hispanics do it down here. They were blocking they were attempting to let other traffic through, and when they saw a recognized ICE agent's car, she would pull out into the road and block the ICE agent and antagonize them, her and her wife. That's what they were doing. And when she pulled off, the one ICE agent had went around the car, got her license plate. They weren't going to really do anything to her other than report her, like you said, to local law enforcement. Hey, here's her license plate. Have her picked up. But she kept antagonizing them. Her wife antagonized the officer that got struck. He had walked around to the front of the car. Another officer came over and said, "Hey, that's enough. Get out of the car." Her wife said, "Drive, baby, drive." As she was trying to get into the car, instead of listening to the ICE agent who told her to get out, she hit the gas and she struck that officer, who, by the way, had been struck by another car 6 months ago. I was shot the bitch too.
All right, now I'm gonna jump in real quick. Shout out to So Fresh, So Clean, our main man, Passport OG. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. I watch your content all the time now, brother. You do great work. You do great work. He said the street was a one way, so therefore we know for sure she ain't trying to turn around to go in the other direction. So thank you for clearing that up. Street was a one way, so she definitely wasn't going in the other direction. She was going the same way she was going at first. And let's keep in mind, y'all, if y'all didn't hear, the news did report that they were out there basically antagonizing the ICE agents and trying to interfere. So that's what I'm saying. They may have had some level of jurisdiction to tell her to get out that car because they were out there trying to disrupt the ICE agents working. So she might have put herself on the line for these illegal immigrants, which I don't know why she cared enough to do so, but that's her business at the end of the day. But as my father would say, she was dead wrong. Okay, whether she was actually right don't make no difference when you did wrong, and she was dead wrong. Now, shout out to Ray Hamner for us. He says they're revolting because ICE is snatching up FBAs. Now, my thing is, are you, because you got that emoji, is that a real question? Because when have white people ever put themselves in the line like that on any kind of real level for FBA people? So no, I don't think this is that anything to do with FBAs at all. So let's not
Yeah,
try
that's
to
not true.
shoehorn.
Yeah, can we?
Hold on. Let's not try to shoehorn ourselves in something that ain't got nothing to do with us. This
Yeah,
ain't got
I
nothing to
mean,
do with FBAs. And my thing is, we're not going to talk about FBAs because this has nothing to do with FBAs. This is white people acting a fool with other white people. And the only thing I'm going to say, when you cool with the government doing stuff to black men, eventually it was going to be visited upon somebody else other than a black man. So to me, this is all this is. When you cool with the messing with black men, guess what? It's going to happen to some of y'all at some point in time. This is just an example of when it happened to them because they don't stand up for what's right on a regular basis. That's what I see this as. I'm not saying it's cool for people trying to do stuff outside of their jurisdiction. I'm saying this was going to have to happen and get caught on record at some point. Because this
This
basically how they
is
treat niggas. That's all.
exactly. Yeah, this has
this
nothing to
this
do with FBAs and everything else.
this is
I'm gonna say
this
this
is
though.
the
No, he was
this
just
is
being sarcastic, fellas. He was being
Yeah,
yeah this
yeah.
is
sarcastic.
But I just
this
what I was
is
going
the
to say. What I was going to say though too is that it's interesting. What happened to George Floyd 5 years ago and everything, where these same type of white women, who voted for, who didn't vote, who voted for, Donald Trump and everything else, and did it again 4 years ago. Right now, the the shoe has turned against them and everything else. And like I said, my RIP to Mrs. Good and everything else. You know, I just wish she would have done another method rather than just driving a car and everything else. Because even if she wasn't trying to do it, just rolling down your window and trying to confront ICE people like that, yeah, you're going to get target and everything else. And I just wish they would also be more compassionate towards black folks and everything. We get in a jam like this, like such as what happened to George Floyd and all these other.
No. I got to push back. Because this ain't got nothing to do with George Floyd. I don't
at
even
all.
think this got something to do with a white woman. This is a white woman who was literally messing with them, and it came out wrong for her.
Yeah, she felt like she was entitled. She
Yeah.
felt like she was entitled. That's all
But
it
here's the
was.
issue. Here's the issue, though. They're trying to make this into another George Floyd issue because
No. Hold on.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to support that. That's why we're not gonna talk about that because that's
Right.
now you're trying to make it what they want to make it. This ain't got nothing to do with him. This is about white people acting a fool with each other. That's all this is. This is a white woman who was trying to purposely be in their way. Keep in mind there was news stories about this stuff. If any of y'all looked at any of these news stories, they clearly said they was out there messing with the ICE agents. It was her trying to act like she better than them, and it came out wrong for her.
And
I'm
that's
not
why I
saying he
mentioned,
was right to shoot
and
her.
that's why I
What
mentioned
I'm
the January
saying
the 6th
is,
incident. It
well,
was the same
hold on one
thing.
second. Hold on, because when we talking, I want the audience to hear what's being said. I'm not saying they were right for shooting her. What I'm saying is she made a decision to mess with them, and it came out
Yes.
dead wrong for her. That's what I'm saying. This ain't
Yeah.
about whether it was legal or not. I'm saying she went there to mess with a dog, and the dog bit her. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And the
this is the Democratic Party using this incident for 2 years from now. They gonna run on this right here.
yes, that's
This
yes,
is
exactly.
gonna be what they gonna stand on. They was looking for an incident. It just so happened it happened so far away from the next election that they gonna try to make this a thing. They're trying to make her name a household name that they can run on. They grasping at straws, and they're gonna say, "Look what Donald Trump did with ICE. Look what Donald Trump allowed ICE to do in your neighborhoods." This is what they're gonna run on because the Democratic Party has lost power, and that's why this is a news story.
Well, Kev,
That's
I'll
That's
the
tell
true
you
too.
only
two.
That
reason.
is true.
I'll
That
tell
is
you
true.
two things these Karens don't want to mess with: ghetto black women and ICE. Those are two kryptonites for they behinds.
It's true. Yeah, you're right. You're
Well,
right.
I'm gonna say, based on news report, it seemed to be confirmed she was out there being a Karen. Now, the guy asking her to get out the vehicle, I'm giving, a I'm just guessing maybe he was allowed to do that because of what she was doing at that particular time. It would make sense to me if an ICE agent has room to address somebody who's literally trying to obstruct ICE from doing their job. That makes sense to me. Just like a police officer can't really mess with me, but if I instruct him from doing his job, he has legal recourse to do so. I would believe an ICE agent would have the same legal recourse to do so if someone is trying to instruct him from doing his job.
If
So
a
was he right for
I
shooting
mean,
her?
we've
Maybe, maybe not.
gone from not even know what the fucking ICE agent is to singing their praise. A
No,
bunch
they
of
You
ain't what
know
it
what
is.
an
strangers
ICE
Fellas,
agent?
look,
You know what an ICE
that's not what
agent
it
is?
is. That is not what it is.
rolling up through people's
That's not what it is.
neighborhoods with masks on. You don't know who they are. You don't know who they represent. You don't have no badge number. You can't. If you're abused by these
Who
people, you
wrote the
can't even.
ICE?
You don't even know who they
Who
are,
wrote the ICE?
or be able to who are you gonna report them to?
Uru,
The three-letter federal government agency.
when the feds do a sweep in the black neighbor when the feds do a sweep, period, there ain't no badge numbers on the feds. Ain't no
Well,
badge
but
numbers
here's the thing.
on Fed rallies.
I don't have FBI. I don't have FBI agents running all up and through the area though. So
They're
it's not that
feds.
big a
They're
concern of
federal
mine.
agents. They're federal
No, but you're
agents,
saying
Uru.
feds. No, this is a particular group of agents. This is not
They're
like the
federal agents.
FBI. This is not
They're
like
They
what.
are,
This is not like the U.S. Marshals Department or
who
whatever, where
but they
they're
are.
targeting a
Uru.
specific people. They have
Ooh,
tracked
but
a
they actually
specific
are though.
people. Got
They just
a
like the
Uru.
particular
ATF.
drug group or whatever like this. These are people who can roll up through any area, in any apartment building, apparently, or whatever, and claiming some people in there who are not citizens and tear up people's shit.
No, they can't,
Now
All
Uru.
that
right,
I don't co-sign. I don't believe in that.
all right.
If
Now,
Uru, if it was
everybody,
that way, I
hold
would
on.
definitely oppose it.
Everybody stop. Because y'all gonna go forever. I got Jado that still need to get in, and AB Media just came up too. So Jado, you got the mic because they ain't gonna stop. Jado, you got the mic, and AB Media go right behind Jado.
All right. I just started doing stuff in the background, Raj. I didn't know how long it's gonna go, but thanks for having me up, man. Um, man, whenever I see stuff like this, I'm highly, highly suspicious and skeptical. And I know I think someone was trying to link it to George Floyd or whatever, but man, something with that Minnesota area, that Minneapolis area. I don't know, man. And again, I don't want to go too far into this, man. Now, I believe it's some real covert operations going on up there to where they're making that something where it's going to be a powder. It's yeah, like a powder keg for political. I guess political motivations behind it. Of course, man. It's just I don't believe in all these coincidences. I don't believe in the coincidence with these women or these lesbian women or whatever. I just don't believe in all these coincidences. So yeah, we definitely should really, really keep our eye out all over the country, but especially Minnesota and the Minneapolis area or whatever. Yeah, they were clearly, it was stated they were stalking and impeding the work of the ICE agents all throughout the day. Exactly what that means, I don't know, but clear these ICE agents do have the authority to detain people when they're obstructing their work. They have that. They've been granted that authority. So whether that officer made it plausible to where he kind of I don't know, man. I have mixed feelings about it. Without the full context of it, man. I think we all, you guys are having a great conversation about it or whatever, and we should do that. Just like I tell black people, man, we should have a code, a set code when dealing with law enforcement, whether or federal or whether they're local or whatever. We should have a strict code. This woman clearly did not, and she got what she got. And I'll end right there. Thanks for having me up, Rob.
Hey, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. AB Media. Well, I hope y'all seen that warning that I put on the screen, because if I put it on the screen, y'all should take a look at it. But Chef is out there warning folks. And, y'all know Mr. Shuggs, you he down there too. So y'all be careful. Y'all be careful.
Yeah, I apologize.
AB Media, go ahead, my brother. You got the mic.
What's going on, brothers?
How you doing?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. I was just saying, how you doing, brother? That's all.
Yeah, I covered this yesterday. Now, how you feel about ICE? That's your business. But you can't deny the fact that those two ladies had no business doing what they were doing. Even if you don't, I get it. Some people don't agree with ICE is doing it. Yes, they should be under a certain amount of scrutiny. I'm not against them being under scrutiny. But to interfere with a federal investigation, and I do consider it a federal investigation because ICE is coming from the federal level to get people out of this country. That was just stupid for those two white women to be doing what they were doing. It was stupid for them to do that. Now I watched the video from the different angles. You can feel how you ever want to feel about that, but it should be noted that they didn't follow instructions of the ICE officers, and if you notice, her partner told her to take off, and that was her her fatal mistake, unfortunately. And I honestly doubt he's going to be charged based on the video I saw, but we just have to see what happens.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna say I don't think she made a mistake. I think she just did what she wanted to do, and it just didn't play out the way she thought it was gonna play out.
Oh well, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna say, y'all, at the end of the day, if you've been in this country for a good enough period of time, you should understand white people's attitude in a certain context. They do believe they can just get away with stuff. They born and bred that way. Now, the fact that you have the ICE agent who seems to be a white guy too. So what I'm saying is, you got two different people who both think they can get away with stuff. It's just in this scenario, one had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Were either one of them right? Probably not. Because now, did he have to buck her a couple times as she was driving off? Not necessarily. Now, I'm going to say, yes, she tried to hit the guy. Well, I'm going to say she tried to hit the guy. Her thing is she didn't care the other ICE agent was in front of the vehicle when she first started moving. Now, he did kind of get out the way, but she didn't care that he was in front of the vehicle. Now, if they ever do anything with that, all they're gonna do is say, well, since the first guy was in the way, that gave the second guy a reasonable a real reason to pull out his firearm and start shooting. That's all they're gonna do at the end of the day. And the government don't care. You know, Trump done came out and made statements. Other folks done came out and made statements. They don't care about this.
Oh no, the guy that she struck is the guy that shot her.
I mean, it
That's
is
who
what it
shot her.
is. Well, I don't think she made a wise decision in this situation, because to antagonize people, and
Yes.
then when they say get out the vehicle, which I don't know what an ICE agent can do. I'm assuming that if you obstruct something they're doing, though, that they can act you out of a vehicle. That's just my assumption, because I've
Yes.
never been concerned about ICE agents in my life. Didn't even know they existed until we had all these people fighting for illegal immigrants. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't understand why everybody want to fight to have illegal immigrants here when you can just come in and be legal. And as far as I know, all you got to do is study and pass some tests. I don't even know what else you really got to do but study and pass some tests. So
Yeah,
you too good to study?
The
You
point I
know?
was trying to make yesterday is, you can feel how you want to feel about this, but they were wrong for trying to impede that investigation, and it's irresponsible to pretend like she's an innocent victim in all this. I think that's completely irresponsible to pretend like she's an innocent victim in all this.
I believe she was being a Karen, as they say, and it just didn't work out for her. And it's that simple to me. No, now, did he have to buck her a couple times and get her? Not necessarily, but why be a Karen in the first place, and why try to hit the guy in front of you? And I'm not saying she was quote unquote really trying to hit him, but she literally didn't care he was in front of the car. She obviously didn't care. Okay, but T'Challa is here, so let me make some room for T'Challa. T'Challa, you got the mic, my brother.
Yeah, hello. Good morning to you, Roger, as the host. I'm sorry, was somebody else talking there?
Down there. I was down there. I said,
Mute up whoever that is, y'all. Mute up. Y'all, somebody got some background going.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, shout out to you, Roger, as the host, and then all the gentlemen on the panel. Hey, I'm arriving a little late. You know, the school district is keeping me busy, but I'm trying to get that money. But check it out though. I like that you're doing this topic in the sense that everybody's talking about it. The problem, there are people that are talking about it correctly. Very few. And then there are people that are, kind of doing what they always do, which is politicizing and racializing this entire incident, right? So the only reason this is important is that basically a white woman lost her life. That's literally it. That's the only reason this is important to anybody, especially people who happen to be non-black. Outside of that, if it weren't for that fact, then this would be a non-issue. And I say that to say this is that a lot of people are not aware of this, but ICE has been taking people out since last summer. Right? They've been firing on people. They've been injuring people, wounding them. They've taken several lives. Yeah, they've been doing that since last summer. So
They killed the brother on New Year's Eve. They shot off-duty ICE agent, killed the brother who was shooting a gun on New Year's Eve, like probably millions of people throughout the country were on New Year's Eve firing off guns into the air. An off-duty ICE guy killed a black man.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I just kind of wanted
to. How nobody's talking about that though.
Well, black people are.
They all obsessed with this white woman, but nobody's talking about that.
That's what Jada was trying to say. They using this for stuff like that's what he was trying to say to y'all.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to come in and because whenever I have this conversation with somebody, I always kind of level set it by saying, "Hey, look, ICE has been taking people out since last summer. Y'all, anybody was mad about that." So, so the only reason that this is an issue is that it just happens to be a white woman, and essentially, this is supposed to be. By the way, this is a lesson to white people. By the way, this is a lesson. The lesson is you do not interfere with federal operations or law enforcement operations when it comes to immigrants, migrants, or anything that harms specifically black people. You're supposed to stay out of it. Because the lesson is it could cost you serious injury or up to your all the way up to your life. So that's what white people are supposed to take away from this. And some white people have, by the way. Some white people are talking about it. Go, oh yeah, well she lost her white privilege. It was supposed to protect her, whatever. And then you have people arguing, well, if there's such a thing as white privilege, why didn't it protect her? Because she was doing something on behalf of non-white people. See, if you're white and you do something on behalf of non-white people, then you're off code, and your punishment is serious injury. Harassment, even all the way up to death. Like that's a punishment for that. So this is the dog whistle to those folks to make sure that white people stay on code and understand where their place in the system, because they're supposed to uphold the system. And if they don't, then this could be your punishment. So there's a lot going on here, a lot of politicization, racialization of it. But the main point is all of this is because she just happens to be white. And understand, when this happens to black people, the only people who get upset about it is black people, black men specifically, because a lot of it happens to black men. But outside of that, that's really the main, bottom line point. And if not for that, then it'd be business as usual. That's pretty much it. I got some other stuff I'll say, but I'll go ahead and land right there and let you respond, Mr. Roger. Go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna jump right in, and I'm gonna say, and this is what I meant by earlier in the show. Now, what y'all just stated about ICE messing with other people, I ain't have no information on this. I don't know nothing about black guy getting killed on New Year's Eve. But what I do know is white people stand by when stuff happen to black folks. If you cool with that, eventually it's got to come to your people too. I ain't saying any of this is right, but I'm saying that's the price of doing business, man. That's the cost. If you want people to mess with us when they shouldn't be messing with us, then some of y'all gonna have to go down too. That's just what it is. So we either make it right or don't trip when it happens to your people. Because if you ain't gonna trip when it happens to my people, I ain't tripping when it happens to yours. Now, again, based on the information I got, she was out there being a Karen. It just didn't work out. I ain't gonna say she lost her white privilege. The fact that she was able to do what she was doing for so long and get away with it, because it was a whole news story about the fact that these people was out there doing this stuff, that tells me she definitely had white privilege. I don't expect to do anything to a federal agent for more than 2 minutes without being in trouble.
You got about 2 seconds, Roger. 2 seconds before federal agent's gonna come after you. He's gonna get on your behind about interfering.
I mean, realistically, yeah. Matter of fact, I told y'all there was one time, just because Obama from Chicago, he's your president. I went over there to the neighborhood where he lived in. I just wanted to see his house. I just wanted to see what type of house the guy who made it to the Oval Office would live in. Talk to her. What I'm suspecting is a Secret Service agent. Told him what was going on, and he basically told me, "Player, you need to just walk away. You don't want to be investigated." Now he doing this. It was a black man. It was basically like a black man to black man thing. Look, bro, for your own best interest, you don't even know which house that is. This ain't what you want. I understand you're curious. You just want to see, brother. This ain't the smoke you're looking for. If I was you, I would just walk away and not come back to this neighborhood. You see what I'm saying?
Now you see right there, Roger, you encountered the agent, he gave you some instruction, and you chose to say, you know what, that make good sense to me. That's why you still alive, bro.
Yeah. So Roger, you didn't pull up in like a SUV and block traffic, pull out your phone, and do all that. You didn't do that.
I actually pulled over. I put my car in a legal parking spot, got out, went toward that block, and when that man stopped me, didn't tell me which house it was or anything, but he let me know basically this is somewhat serious, and he was just kind of saying it in the black code way, this ain't what you want. And I said, you know what? You right. I don't want it.
I have a curious question.
I literally told him, let me go get my car and let's act like I never even came. Real talk.
I have a curious question.
Hey, Roger, I have a Latino wife, right? And she can be around a bunch of illegals sometimes. And I told her, if ICE comes, you just go with them. That's a free trip back to Colombia. Don't worry, don't say nothing. If they don't let you talk, just take the ride. You got nothing to do. You can't fight on the street. So you let them, if they want to take you, go with them. And then, you're legal. I'll get you back. Don't worry about it. Just, ain't no time to fight on the streets. You can't fight on the streets because even though you might have some privileges, you ain't got all that kind of privilege.
That's wise counsel. Now,
yeah.
how did the protesters know ICE was gonna be there?
Also, there are groups that have been following the movements of ICE and just kind of watching them. So this woman is actually part of this Renee Good. She's actually part of she was actually part of a watch group where they're supposed to be like helping migrants out and tipping them off to where ICE is so that way they can avoid them and all the other stuff. So she was part of that. Oh, by the way, a lot of stuff is coming out about her that's not so good. No offense to her name or no pun intended. But yeah, she's got some shady stuff in her background. You notice what they're not doing? You notice what they're not doing? They're
Not
not
pulling
really
up the dirt
contaminating.
on her.
Yeah, they're not really. Yeah, there's nationwide. There's not really any negativity or dirt coming up about her image. But she's got some shadiness going on in her
Yeah.
background.
They treating her with white privilege, because if it was a black man, is you a nigga, and not only we gonna say how you died, we gonna talk about all this other stuff that's not even connected to the situation that people would look at unfavorably in your past.
Oh,
So
did you see the
she getting white privilege even through death.
Did you see the wholesome white picture they put up of her? The most wholesome picture they could find. If it was us, it would be that one picture you had with the money spread out and all that other bullshit.
Yeah, that's
That's
the
a
angel
mug
photo.
shot.
That's the innocent angel photo. Like, oh, this is just a regular, look, it got the clouds in the background and all the other stuff. Yeah, kind of indicate like a heavenly vibe and all the other stuff. Yeah, we all saw that. So the thing is that they're not criminalizing her like they normally do with black men specifically.
Truth be told, she dressed like a thug.
Yes, sir.
Look at her on the screen right now, y'all. You got a hat on, you got a coat on, like you got a hoodie up under that coat. You dress like a thug.
Well, she look homeless to me.
Yeah. Well, she might be homeless. I ain't gonna say she not, but she is a gay woman, so I'm assuming she got a little money, which means she can afford to dress something. She could dress in a way that ain't like a thug.
Did you hear what a girl?
A thug coat with the thug hoodie and a hat on. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Did you hear what a girlfriend said to the ICE agent about 10 seconds before the shooting? She said to
Go
the
get
ICE
some lunch or
agent,
something.
she said, you want to take us on? I don't think you want to do that, because if you want to do that, you need to go get. I suggest you go get you some lunch, big boy. And then went around to the other side of the car. I wonder how that lunch tastes.
Yeah, she was talking big. She's talking real greasy and very directly to that agent. So again, exercising privilege, right? Because when law enforcement deals with white people, they're very they show weapons discipline. They show restraint. They allow white people to kind of talk back and ask me smart alecky, all of this other stuff. Now they do that up to a point until they get super irritated. But yeah, I've seen at this point there's way too many videos online where white folks get way too much leniency, which is why she can talk that way. She knew she could do that, but up to a point. But as soon as
if she knew the point, she'd be lying. She didn't know the point.
Well, that's just it. Sometimes, they overextend themselves sometimes. They miscalculate. This was a huge miscalculation. But yeah, she had privilege all the way up until the point where now this is where I will critique the ICE agent for a bit. Is that after he fired the first shot and the danger was passed, he is getting some critique for firing after the danger was passed. Fire a couple more shots, but I mean, I think it was the first shot that pretty much got her anyway. But the thing is that it doesn't really matter because he's protected. He's got qualified immunity. And basically, with by labeling her as domestic terrorist, that gives them, credibility or at least legitimacy as far as his actions. So, he's got qualified immunity working for him. Plus, he's got top-down cover from all the way from the administration through everybody that's working with him, all the way to the bottom. So he's gonna be okay. Now, he may not be working as an ICE agent anymore, but he can be okay.
The president already said we good. He ain't got nothing to worry about. The president of the United States done said y'all can go on mind some other business because this business ain't finna do you no good. But shout out to Trail Bentley. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate the 57-cent Trail Bentley tax. He's saying something that makes some level of sense, y'all. When you think about it, this makes some sense. He said, unless you bout that life and stay ready, don't argue with armed masked men. Now, I'm going to say that makes sense to me, okay? That makes some level of sense to me. I'm not going to argue with no armed masked men. That's just not that ain't the smoke I'm looking for. I'm going to say that. I ain't say I wouldn't do it. Depends on what the scenario is, but it ain't the smoke I'm looking for. And she was looking for the smoke. Just is what it is. She was looking for the smoke. I'm not saying the shooting was legit. All I know is she was looking for smoke. Yeah. And I do believe Blackwell, you do have a point about maybe they are doing some stuff out here that is beyond their jurisdiction to do. I'm just admitting I don't know what ICE agents can do based on jurisdiction. How do they find illegals that's in the country? I don't know. Because truth be told, if I was the person in charge of getting these illegals out the country, I'm literally going to the schools and I'm picking up the school kids. And you know what I'm doing? I'm assuming the parents going to want to come down and get deported with their kid. Because I'm going to deport the illegal kid that's here. And I'm sure the parent going to get deported with their kid. It's a hard choice. Do I go down there and get my kid and let my kid? Do I go down there and rescue my kid and get deported with my kid? Or do I let my kid get deported back home and then, they do what they do? It's a hard choice, but that's what I would be doing. I don't know how they quote unquote finding all these illegal immigrants. So maybe we should do some looking into how they're handling their business. But at the end of the day, I still think it's dumb.
If you're deporting, who are you just gonna do the children to? Who are you giving the children to?
That's their country's job to figure out. And now my thing is, you as a parent, your child went to school. We done picked your kid up. We deporting your kid. You either gonna come down there and get deported with your kid, or your kid is getting deported without you. That don't make me no never mind.
So there is a procedure.
I am suspicious of what kind of environment we're in once they start shipping children out, which could happen.
We've been doing that.
So there is a procedure for that.
I think that's a very dangerous environment for all of us.
They were protesting Obama for doing that. We've been doing that for years.
Yeah. He has a procedure in place for that.
Those were children at the border, that kind of thing. That wasn't them jackbooting through. That wasn't them booting through CPS schools, snatching Julio and them up out of their third grade. They weren't doing that.
But hold on. Let me read the super chat. Okay. Shout out to Detroit 313. He said, I would say I told you so, but the Charlie is correct. I'm getting some lunch. Y'all want some? Hey man, grab me a sandwich, okay? Real talk. But I ain't saying it in no smug way.
Because I guarantee you, once they start snatching kids out of schools and stuff like that, I guess they can snatch folks out of hospitals too. Then blood will be running on the streets by then.
Well, I can answer the question.
All out. This Karen thing will be minor when that happens. They'll probably have to be killing teachers too.
Maybe.
So they were doing that initially, Uru, but they kind of shut that down as far as schools, hospitals, and churches. They were doing that initially, though.
Yeah, because they know the social consequence of doing that.
Because of the blowback. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if I'm given a job to do, you give me a little time, I'm gonna automatically start figuring out easier and better ways to do the job. I just go get the kids, man. Because if I get a kid, I probably get a whole family. I just need one kid. Once I get the one kid,
it's easy to snatch a child if it's just you and that child. It ain't gonna be just you and that child. I guarantee you, it's gonna be some teachers, it's gonna be some principals, it's gonna be some superintendents. They are not gonna let you just walk them children up out of there like that.
I mean, if they want to fight, we can fight. I ain't worried about that.
Well, to answer your question, at least in part of how they figure this out, they work with the Department of Homeland Security. So the ICE agents are like the police officers for the Department of Homeland Security, and the database is constructed and maintained by the Department of Homeland Security. That's where the information comes from. So if you want to search and find out how they're doing this, that's where you start.
Well, but I am saying, to me, it just makes sense to go to a school, pick up a kid. Once the parents come to the school to pick their kid up, and then the ICE people then came and got them, Now you got to make a decision. Are you going to get deported with your kid, or are you going to let your kid get deported without you? And the fact that you're going to get deported with your kid probably says, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get mom, I'm probably going to get dad, and guess what I might also get? The brothers and sisters too. I might get the whole family because I got one kid. I'm doing what's easy.
That sounds like a great concept, and I'm sure some people who have been associated with Donald Trump came up with that exact same idea, and there was some smarter people say, "Don't you dare do that." It'll be fire and blood in the streets if you do that shit.
You illegal, man. You out of here. Now, I get what you're saying. That there will be people from a social perspective trying. Man, I don't care nothing about none of that. My job is to get rid of these illegals. They going. Now they can go with you alive, or they can go with you dead. Don't make me no never mind. Because this what the job is.
Now, I will say this: the Department of Homeland Security and ICE are probably the next best thing to law enforcement for Black people, and I'm gonna tell you why. They are getting rid of the people that took your house. They are getting rid of the people that got your food stamps. They are getting rid of the people that got the subsidies that we were supposed to get, because they brought those people in to replace us. I'm with Roger on this one. Get them out of here.
Okay, so what a part about Trump's plan is going to transfer all this shit that they've collected off of these people? What part of his plan mean is going to get funneled to Black folks?
Oh, it might not be his plan, but it gives us an opportunity. Just like she gave that ICE officer an opportunity, you got to take advantage of your opportunity.
Okay, and I'm gonna say I'm not even looking at it from a perspective of how it's going to affect Black people. You are an illegal immigrant. I don't care about your story. A lot of folks, I get it. They was making stuff in the news. They doing this, but they only going after the people who committing the crime. The crime is you here. That's what the crime is. I don't care nothing about your background. If I find you and you don't belong here, if it's up to me, you gone. And it's that simple. Now, if you want to tell on some other people and they can go with you, that's fine. We'll take your information. We'll go get them too. But if it's up to me, the fact that you here is my problem. I don't care about your background. I'm not trying to try you. I'm not trying to, put you in court. I'm getting you out of here. That's all I'm doing. Now, if you done committed some crime somewhere else, they'll deal with you. All I know is your crime to me is the fact that you're present. And I'm going to eliminate that problem. And we're going to do that by any means necessary. And if you got some other folks you want to tell on, they can get on the same bus you getting on. That's up to you. Or we can just take you this time. But you gone messing with me because I'm just doing the job. And anybody who want to help an illegal immigrant, you can send them all the money you want to when they get back overseas or wherever they came from, and you can help them come into this country the right way. You can do that if you want. But if you ain't willing to do that, I don't care. I'm an American, man. This is my land first. I don't want people in my house that ain't supposed to be here. It's that simple to me. And to me, that's a very simple thing. There are right ways to do it. Now, if there was no way for people to come to this country, I would have some level of understanding. And I'm going to say, shout out to, what is this? Is this Dr. Renee or Dear Renee? I don't know how you meant that, but shout out to you, sister. Appreciate seeing you again. I say that. I appreciate seeing you again. She said, well, Roger's right. And ICE can now go to schools, hospital, and churches. Now, I ain't going to go to the hospital and get you. I'm doing what's easy. I'm just going to the schools. By the time I get the schools cleared out, a lot of folks is already gone. Okay. That's Drea. Shout out to Drea. Okay, because I was trying to remember what your name. So that's Drea Renee. That's what that is. My bad. Good to see you though, Drea. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna go to hospitals and getting people out because I ain't gonna try to stop you from your medical situation. You're gonna go back home healthy, which means you're gonna be able to make it. You might have a tough situation back home, which is maybe why you left your country in the first place. But you're going to be healthy enough to make it. So here you go. You know,
Hey,
works out
Roger,
fine
can
for
I add
me.
something to it?
Go ahead.
So I agree with what you're saying about as far as like them being illegal and things of that nature. Because when you think about it, all the other people, like African people from the continent, Asian people, they have to spend thousands of dollars to come to immigrate to this country, right? So we're gonna be okay with a bunch of people just bypassing, the border patrol in Texas and stuff on the Mexican line, like trespassing, like just because they want to be here. A lot of people want to be in the country, but there's a process. You know what I'm saying? So if you got to do something illegal to get your way, I mean, I can't support that. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing things illegal in the right way, yeah, I mean, that's how it should be.
All right.
But you have people that spend.
Hold fast, y'all. Let me say shout out to KFC. Appreciate the super sticker, my
You
brother.
know
Appreciate the super sticker.
that would sound all well and good, brother, if we also don't have Trump trying to denaturalize folks. So that African that paid all that money, they trying to fix it so they can get his ass up out of here too.
Yeah, while he's stealing stuff from Africa at the same time too.
But I was just going to say we got to make room for no placeholder, but it sounded like you barging on in. But go ahead, brother. Get your 2 minutes.
What's going on, Roger? What's going on, Roger? I'm obviously, I mean, I'm gonna come from a different angle because, like, my philosophy when it comes to like South America and Central American immigration, that is all America's problem. They said I don't feel sorry for them even for the slightest. They're thieves, they're brigands, they're thugs. They've been doing this to these people for 200 years. They deserve what they get. I'm saying so. That's pretty much my philosophy towards it. It's like these countries are prosperous. For example, even a country like was it Ecuador, literally before this guy was president, they were fine. He literally comes to use billions of dollars to overthrow their left wing government and put in a right wing government. Now basically, we're going from one of the safest places in the world to the top 5 most dangerous cities. I'm saying 5 of their cities are in the top 5 dangerous places in the world. I'm saying it's like, you know what I'm saying? And these people are very prosperous and very okay. I'm saying this problem is created by corporate greed.
There was a great line. There was a great line in a Chris Rock movie where he was running for president and his opponent had this great campaign line: God bless America and nobody else. That's what we had.
That's perfect.
That's
a perfect. You know what I'm saying? No, we've been there. We've been there for the last 200 years. This so-called Monroe Doctrine is not something new. They've been at this for a while. They wouldn't allow, for example, they wouldn't even allow people.
God bless America, nobody else.
Yeah, they're very arrogant in their disposition, Lou. And I'm trying to say is like trying to tell a country in South America they can't buy stuff from China. And then basically like literally putting embargoes on Venezuela simply because you don't want them to like do things that I'm saying it's like all these self-serving corporate, like I'm saying, it ends, and then you complain about the ramifications of like robbing these people of a stable environment. You're saying it's like what? They're saying that you come with some Gestapo like you're some kind of hero. Like, oh, I'm gonna like, no, you're not doing anything, dude. If you really wanted to solve the problem, you wouldn't have you would have bought the oil from the Venezuelan people because you print money and you're greedy. You're saying, and you can't, even though you print money and you're failing because your printing of money has reached the end of it. And instead of basically, even that is failing you. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I'll end it.
All right. Now, I'm going to say that, well, first of all, shout out to Great Black Reset. He said, hit the like button for this great show Roger is producing. Now, I got to second that notion. Y'all hit that like button out there. I know some of y'all came in and showed so good you just forgot. It's cool. Just get out the chat, go hit the like button, and come on back. It's that simple. It's nothing hard. Okay. Look, some stuff is bigger than you. I'm not going to sit here like I have some agenda where I care about which people get in. We have a system to get into this country. What I've never heard anybody argue is that the system we have for people to come into this country is unfair. So since I've heard no one argue that it's an unfair system, just come in the right way. It's not the end of the world. if you want to help an illegal immigrant,
what would be a fair system though? Because I mean, there's obviously differences
They can join
logistically
the
in terms of
military.
how people
They
can
can join
get
the
here.
military.
There's obviously differences in cost. Everybody can't sign up for the military. So it's going to be unfair because even just the logistics of getting here and the differences in economies is going to make the cost of getting here much more difficult for somebody coming from, Senegal versus somebody that's coming from Sweden, for example.
It's supposed
So
to
it's
be difficult to get
inherently
here.
unfair.
It's
Well,
supposed
I
to be
mean, and that's
difficult to get
that's
here.
well and good, but I'm referring to the point that Roger say he's never heard anybody claim that it's unfair. Well, shit. I mean, if you ask the right people, I'm sure a lot of them will say it's unfair.
well, I'm saying, and that's the because it's all about perspective. But people ain't really made an issue to say the system to becoming a citizen is unfair. If you don't present it, people ain't gonna think about it. So at the end of the day, as far as I know, it's a very fair system. People can use the
The
system. There is
people
a way to
who
do
would
it to
say
do it the
it's
right way.
unfair are people you would never listen to, and it would never be reported. I would wager there are hundreds of millions of people on this planet who would say that the system of coming into the United States of America is unfair.
That's
Well,
what that's what
But
make,
you're never
that's
going
what
to
makes
see
I
those people reported. You're never going to hear from those people.
well, I mean, I think you make a good solid point. But if they're not an American citizen, it wouldn't make a difference anyway, because you can't tell nobody how to set rules for you to let them in your house. You can't
exactly.
do that as an outsider. So yeah, who cares what you think? But there's no one here.
So if you have a system that inherently favors one group of people over another, which was by the case what this country, 100 years ago, it specifically had a system that favored folks in Europe over everybody else.
No,
Yeah.
and
So
that is
obviously there have been time periods where it has not been fair in terms of the reason why we have had for almost this entire country's history
Let,
a majority white population has been based on how unfair the immigration system has been in this country historically.
it,
and why I
it,
can 100% agree with that. My point is the people here have to make it an issue. That's on us. We made an issue. People who live here made an issue with the American system. So we would have to
This
make an issue with how the immigration system is for it to matter.
this Raj, this idea of like everyone wanting to come to America is a foul. Dude, just stop stealing people's stuff. Stop stealing and stop killing their leaders. Stop murdering their engineers and scientists. Stop using corporations to basically ravage their children and their women. How about you stop doing that, bro? They will just stay where they are.
No, I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
no, I get that's a solid point. And at the end of the day, that's up to American people to say stop doing stuff in other places. But when it comes down to it, you can't tell nobody how to get access to your home. This country is
What I'm
our
trying to say,
home
Roger, I
collectively.
agree, Roger, but people are homes are being destroyed, Roger. You know what I'm saying? And
No,
that's
no,
why they're
but
basically,
in your
I'm saying,
analogy, Roger, in your analogy, Roger, you built your home from shit you stole out of my country.
I totally understand
In
that.
your analogy.
let me let me tell you how
no,
fair
I don't want to hear
it's
your,
gonna
I
get.
don't want your, I don't
Hold
want to
on.
hear your
I
half
know.
support of white supremacy and not support.
I
You
know.
support
I
white
know you.
supremacy when it's convenient for you, Kevin. When it's
I under,
convenient for you, white
I under,
people are great. But when it's
I
not
under, I
convenient
under,
for you, white people are not great. This is
yeah.
ridiculous, dude. This is
Listen, I don't
I
ridiculous.
care.
mean,
I
I
don't
think
care.
we
I
I
all
don't
can't
care.
under.
take you seriously. I
I
can't
don't
take you
care.
seriously, Kevin, because
I don't care
I
how
can't
many
either, bro.
times you cut me off. I'm gonna speak my piece. So when you get done crying, let me know.
Go on, man. Go say what you're gonna say, but no
All
insults, man.
right.
No insults. But
I,
don't say what you're
I,
gonna
I
say.
love I love the brother. He know it. He know I love him. But listen, it's fair because the United States says it's fair. It's fair because they're making the rules. We ain't got to like it. We ain't got to like it. I keep telling y'all, man. We 12, 13% of the population. All these rules ain't gonna be for us, and we ain't gonna like them all. We got to figure out which one of these
Calm down,
what
bro.
rules work for us.
So the Democratic Party don't make the rules? Is the Democratic Party not a part of the United States? So when they made the rules to let the immigrants in, was it not them making the rules?
Well, we got to be realistic. We got to be very realistic. And I know this is gonna shock some people, and it's your fault that you still this dumb if you're an adult. The Democratic Party ain't your party. That is not a party for black people. Okay.
I'm not talking about it, Roger. I am saying that they are also part of the government. If they make rules and decide to allocate the resources,
I get what you're saying, but that wasn't for you. That wasn't for you.
Black people don't have a
Neither our
party.
party has been our party. I'm going to complain about what the Republicans do just as I complain about what the Democrats do. They both have been playing some game. They both are playing some Game of Thrones type shit with our ass, and I'm going to holler at both of them. I'm going to holler at them giving the $5,000 food stamps to the folks. I'm also going to holler at them shooting the brother because he was firing a shotgun on New Year's Eve. I'm hollering at all that shit.
And that's fair. That's fair. You get to complain because you are from here. You get to complain. But the people that ain't from here, if you came here illegally, regardless of what the rules and how you felt about them when you got here, if you came here illegally, you're a criminal.
They feel the same way about your oil companies. They feel the same way about your oil company, bro, when they just not in a position to blow it up.
Okay.
But in time, they will be able to gain the capability. And in time, they will be able to retaliate.
When they're
This won't last forever.
When they're in the courts to try to overturn naturalization, that's just not an illegal shit. That's just not a criminal shit. That is something else. That is somebody who's gone through all the rightful channels and all of that, and they saying, fuck that. We still want to get rid of it.
Okay, let me throw this in real quick. Shout out to Chef Mike. He says, hey, what is this, a fish market nonsense y'all got going on? Control your emotions. Stop yelling and speak one at a time. At no placeholder and Great Black Reset. So y'all, we got warnings. We got warning shots. So let's all be cool.
Understood.
Okay.
I love you, no placeholder. I love you.
Yeah, I'll try to tone it down too, sure. I'll try to tone it down.
Man, save your love for somebody. I'm just fucking with you.
Now, I'm gonna say this. I ain't expect that to say behind that, but I'm gonna say this. Now, this is the thing. I understand the United States does some unsavory thing in other places, but realistically, if anybody from the United States is doing unsavory thing in other places, and that country gets them, you ain't gonna hear me tripping about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got to protect your own, just like we got to protect our own. Yep. So my thing is, I'm not saying we should get a privilege that other people don't have. Everybody got a house. Everybody get to protect their house. And all I'm saying is, when it comes to illegal immigrants, because I don't know all the things about how to come into this country, because it's never been my concern. But there is a proper way to do it. And if we need to change that way, it's people in America that needs to have an issue with it so we can change how people come in. But the illegals can't come in just because they want to. I understand what you're saying, but this is bigger than them. They just individuals that want to be in a particular place. You don't got it like that. Unfortunately for you, you weren't born here. You know?
Yeah, so I'm sorry. There's a couple of things going on here, Roger. So, so somebody, you mentioned about the United States doing unsavory actions in other countries. They don't do that without help, generally from that country, by the way. So we got to kind of level set that. And the other thing too is, so you have to try to kind of reverse this a bit, in the sense that as an American, can you go into another country, make demand, look for, expect and demand entitlements, and then go against their system and then get away with it? Is that possible for you to do that in other countries? You can't even do that across the border in Mexico.
Yes,
no, you can't.
They just did that in Venezuela.
They're kicking Americans out. You're wrong. They're kicking Americans out. They literally are. They literally rounded up Americans. They literally rounded up Americans, taking them to the airport, And then, especially if they overstay their visa, and then say, "Hey, look, for the time that you overstayed, you also have to pay in order to get out of this country. But you got to go. Either way, you got to go." Like they're doing that just across the border in Mexico. Canada may be a little more liberal about it, but what I'm telling you, in other countries, I've been in countries where if you so much as offend them in any way, you are on the next thing smoking. A skateboard, an aircraft, a boat, they don't care. If you offend them, you haven't even broken a law. If you just offend them, they will send you on the next thing smoking. I've seen that.
And
Well,
they don't always send you back to America. Sometimes they send you to the next country over and let you figure it
They
out.
don't care where you go as long as you're out of their country. Like it is that serious in other countries. Especially when we won't talk about the regions. I'll just say on other parts and on the other side of the world, in certain regions, they are very serious about if you disrespect them in any way, even if you're not committing a crime, if they just think you're disrespecting them, you're gone. Like it's that serious. So the thing is that you have people who come with a level of entitlement, like I'm here now. Now you got to do this, 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 and this, and this for me, and you better not complain about it, and you better shut up and do it. You better let me just do what it is I'm going to do, like I am a citizen. And that you have to have some perspective on this behavior, right? Why would that be allowed? And then you can't do it someplace else. Then that should be. We should be able to do that in any country. We should be able to go to any country all over the world and just act a fool. And no, that's not how it works.
Now, I want to remind folks, this ain't about what no foreigner did. They made an issue in the news to make sure everybody understood that Renee Good was an American citizen. Renee played with people she shouldn't have played with, and Renee was dead wrong. That a foreigner didn't do nothing. She did it. She understand what this country is because she's a citizen. You a citizen, you got to know about the country to be a citizen. I know that. Even if you come from somewhere else, you got to know something about this country to be a citizen. So she was in America. As far as I know, she's born and raised in America. She playing games in America and got herself killed knowing what America is. She just thought it wasn't going to happen to her because I'm white. She might have thought it was going to happen to her because she LGBT. She may have thought she had extra privilege. And who was this white man to address me, even if he is part of the federal government? I'm still a white woman. A lot of white women take that attitude on. I see white women basically every single day now that we have social media. I don't know if I miss a day where there ain't a white woman acting like she's better than other people. So she put something out there. It just didn't come back the way she wanted to put. I don't know why she's trying to help illegal immigrants. I don't even care why people are trying to help illegal immigrants. I understand you can use your rights in the way that you want to. I don't care. It does not make sense. I'm not trying to help illegal immigrants. I have no reason to. So at the end of the day, I don't play those games. So this stuff ain't happening to me. But when it comes down to it, she played with the wrong person that day, and the wrong person got her. And I'm not saying he was right to get her, because you got to look at it from a very legal perspective, but there's enough there that both sides can make pretty decent arguments. If they were to try him for murder, the prosecution definitely got some stuff to say. And the defense would definitely have some stuff to say. Both of them got perspectives. At the end of the day, why was you playing with these people in the first place? Just because you're an American citizen don't mean you get to play with government agents. And that's what I'm saying. When the Secret Service guy talked to me and was nice enough to make it where it wasn't going to be a big thing for me, I understood to walk away. He said, I don't want them problems. He said that in so many words. Bro, you don't even want these problems. To have your name on the list somewhere looking for the president's address, that's a bigger problem than you understand at this particular point, and you don't really want it. And you know what? I thought about what he said. I said, you know what? That does make some level of sense. I'm some random guy and I'm looking for the president's address. I could understand how the United States government could take that a negative way. And I definitely could understand as a black man how the news could play with that information where something were to happen to me. So yeah, because I grew up in America too. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say thank you, brother, and I'm going to walk away. She got sense.
Yeah,
she knew what she was doing.
There were a couple of brothers. There were a couple of brothers, a couple of incidents where some of them got near Obama's house, and they snatched them up, but they didn't kill him. They didn't shoot him. They just snatched them up and did whatever they did. So yeah, there were a few incidents over there, but
They didn't kill him.
And I'm just saying, I can understand how that's gonna look. I'm a guy looking for the president's address. This ain't gonna work out for me as a black man. I don't need to be on record. Now I can't tell you they still didn't look at my license plate or something when I drove off. All I know is I said, brother, you know it, you right, you make too much sense. Let me go and get up out of here. Okay, and act like I never was here. And they let me walk away. But I'm doing that because I am an American and I know how this country get down. She an American too. She know how this country get down.
She was that white woman was doing what white women do, doing things to serve their own ends. I doubt she even cares about. I'm saying it was just more or less wanted to be seen, wanted to be heard, and wanted to seem like some kind of social justice warrior. And she paid what she had to pay for it because she misinterpreted the value that white men still have for white women. That's her problem. I'm saying as much as you guys are making arguments about all that, I personally think the reason why she got shot is because white women have just basically lost their value in the eyes of white men in more ways than one, especially a lesbian and all that stuff. Like you say,
I mean, that could have played. It could have played a part in because it was a white man that got her.
Yeah, because I'm trying to say. So I'm saying anybody else wouldn't have shot her, but I'm saying, and the whole idea of them covering for her is covering for him or whatever it is they're just holding the line for the overall plan that they have in place, which is to basically continue with this Gestapo approach towards because it's a small to big. They start with saying that they're doing this for immigration, then they're going to do it for something else, and do something else. Before you know it, they're going to start doing it to you. I'm saying, so it's like, I'm saying, but yeah, it's she was just doing that for the sake of basically being seen, and she had to pay the price for that. But in terms of like all of the situation that's unfolded right here, it's all orchestrated. The idea of like ravaging people's home and then trying to exploit them for cheap labor. These people are beyond nefarious, man. They said you ravage their home, force them on this long journey, and to come here so that way you can let them through the borders on purpose, so you can get cheap labor on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because this whole idea of making it seem like these people are probably arrogant because they're like, whoa, I didn't expect it to be this way. I'm saying that they probably came to customs in ways that they didn't expect it, and whatever Democrat resource they gave to them, they probably misinterpreted that or whatever it be and thought it was easy. So they went on the internet and they said things that were basically out of scope. But the point I'm referring to is that all of this is happening is orchestrated. If they really wanted to shut down that southern border, there's nobody coming through. Look what happened, dude. Like Venezuela's a whole country. You couldn't get stuff out of Venezuela since 2016. Like I'm saying, the reason why the Venezuela basically environment is the way it is because they had an embargo in the country. You couldn't get stuff in and out of the country. You saying they have enough resources to stop a completely different country from doing what he wants to do, right? You think they don't have the same resources to stop people from coming to their own borders? This idea of like, it's like these are corporations, bro. They serve themselves. They don't care about you and me. But anyway, I'll end it.
Now I gotta say that shout out to Shark Sims. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. He says white, gay, and female. That's a triple power up, like the star in Super Mario Brothers. And you know what? I do honestly believe that's where she lost her mind. She thought because she was white, she was gay, and she was female, that can't nobody touch her, and you can't even talk to me. That's why she started pulling off and dude wanted to quote unquote talk to her. You know, think about it. Why is he telling her to get out the car? Because now he want to talk to you. But I'm too big to be talked to. I'm a gay white woman. Okay. I'm too big to talk to. So I'm leaving. It's that simple because I make the rules. And I'm going to say this too, y'all. Now, I don't know why all these people trying to keep these illegal immigrants here. But when I start thinking about why would you care, I can't come up with nothing pleasant. So you want to keep the illegal immigrants here so they can undercut black people when it comes to jobs? Because that's the type of stuff that come across my mind. Well, if the white men that's in power in a corporation, if they can pay these illegal immigrants instead of paying them niggas, that's good for me. That's the type of thoughts I have. So I don't know why you're trying to keep illegal immigrants here. I don't get it. And this ain't about whether the illegal immigrants are coming over here for a good reason or a bad reason. That ain't even coming across my mind. Why would you, as an American citizen, want them here? That's my question.
Shoot, if you
I don't know.
if you Democrat,
I think the way they're doing this,
will prove to be a Pyrrhic victory for us all. I think if you're going to use this approach to get millions of people out of the country, I think you have a very different country after it's over. And I don't think you've established a precedent that I believe none of us have lived through. I know we like to talk this shit about what black people have gone through. Well, now we training up generations of white guys that feel like they can roll up in any of our communities and kick down our doors and accuse us of being anything, and then just use that, put that under the guise of the federal. What did J.D. Vance refer to it as? Unlimited immunity. The Yale graduate, future law school graduate, probably future president of the United States, said that they have unlimited immunity. That shit ain't gonna stop with illegal. That is not gonna stop with illegals.
Well, my thing is, I get the point that you're making, but I'm saying we're not pushing that either. Because, see, I look at it with a perspective. Now, let's say they do something like this to a black man, and the black man put a bullet in his head. My thing is, let the black man go. He's a citizen. The guy rolled up on the wrong person. He should have did his job better. See, that's
Do you think
the
that's
cost
what they're
of.
gonna do?
No.
Do you think that's what they're gonna do?
Well, I'm not
every
saying
black person in that area, every black person connected with him are gonna be dead on that scene.
No. I'm not saying about what's right and wrong. I'm saying what the reality is. If you do that to a citizen and he blow your head off, I got to take the citizen's side. You should have been doing your job better.
But once you say a federal officer has unlimited immunity, you've given all the power in that situation to that agent.
Well, I haven't said that at all.
You've licensed all kind. I'm talking about the guy who's the current vice president of the United States away, and his boss is 80 years old.
No, I totally get what you're saying, but my thing is politicians say wrong stuff all the time. They do wrong stuff all the time, just like.
But politicians ain't a heartbeat away from the president of the United States.
No, I totally get that, but that's why I always say American citizens are gonna have to do better about who they vote for in the first place. Why put tyrants in office? I don't get that. These people that get in office don't get in because of me. Obama, the first time, is the only president I ever voted for that actually made it in the office, and I wouldn't vote for him the second time. You know, so my thing is American citizens got to really take stock into what they're voting for, because I ain't putting these people in power. They getting in there, but I know it ain't me. My people lose, because I be picking people that's best for the country. My people be losing. Okay, it just is what it is, and people argue with me. Well, you know, I want to make sure my vote count. Why would you vote for somebody who want to put you in slavery just so you can say your vote count? That don't make no sense to me. I'm voting for what's good for me, my family, my people, my neighborhood, my city, my country. So my people lose, and that's just real talk. You know, because a lot of folks out here brainwashed. Now, shout out to Gregory Scotland. He say, "Hey, Roger, I must have Greenland. I need any obstacles gone." Now
he got a point. He got a point.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
That's the next target after Venezuela is Greenland. He got a point.
Now I'm gonna say, just in case the wrong people listening.
Once you co-sign one bit of imperialism, you kind of co-signing on all that shit.
This is why I say we're addicted to white supremacy. We're not comfortable with it. We don't want to admit it. When it comes to making money and it comes to staying in power, we are addicted to white supremacy. It is better for us to be in line with the bully than to be bullied.
I agree, 100%.
I'm not going that far. That's why I said if somebody's in a different country and they catch some Americans doing some unsavory stuff and they get them, they just got to me. I don't think there's no issue. They just got. You shouldn't have been out there doing stuff.
I personally don't complain about it Wait,
That's not
hold
enough,
on.
man.
I don't complain about it one way or the other. Like when we went over there messing with the Houthis and the Houthis ran us up out of there, I ain't complaining about that. We shouldn't have been over there. You know how I know? Because we got our ass kicked. That's how it
Indeed.
works. When you get
Well,
your
yeah,
ass kicked, you was wrong.
Well,
That's
I,
how
I
power
agree.
works.
Yeah, but I said yes. I agree. Yes, so it's like it's there's so much nuance to that, but I agree. I agree that essentially that the situation with the Houthis and that's military scenarios where it unfold. But what we're
I'm just
talking about here is it. Yeah, so, go ahead.
no, I'm just using it as a parallel. That in the history of man, the right and wrong is determined by strength. When you get your ass kicked, you were wrong. That's it. Because there's too many nuances. There's too many things for us to go through to figure out who was actually right and wrong. The
So
history is written by the victors. We don't know what the losers had to say about the
yeah.
situation.
What? And I'm gonna
I,
say I'm gonna say this too. Black men since before this country was a country been pretty much in disagreement with our politicians the whole time. Collectively, we don't agree with them. Now we ain't had the power to stop them from doing certain stuff, but we definitely haven't agreed with them. So I get the point Black who were making about JD Vance because he is, technically he is one heartbeat away from being the president himself. So that is saying something at the end of the day.
I,
But
I'm just doing some simple math and some history lessons. And I just don't see them federalizing thousands of people and investing and Trump has increased his military budget. You don't think some of that shit gonna flow back on us? They
I
basically
think
arming up to not just do this shit globally. They arming up to do this shit domestically too.
no, I definitely think they gonna do it to Black folks, and that's why I want Black folks to wake up. And at the end of the day, sometimes you're gonna have to fight, and you might have to put a bullet in their head too. It is what it is. Sometimes you gotta tell them to back
Right,
off. And
right.
I ain't
But
saying it's gonna
and
be easy, and I ain't
sometimes
saying it's gonna be
part
cool.
of the fight, and sometimes part of the fight is you don't give the bully an even break. Look, I don't have. I'm not supportive of illegals being here. I used to do I-9 audits and shit like that. For I mean, shit. When most of y'all were in high school or even earlier, I used to do these consultation reviews of illegals and stuff like that. I'm professionally familiar with that sort of thing. But how much? Like I said, at a certain point, it becomes a Pyrrhic victory. At a certain point, the cost of doing this shit exceeds the benefit of it. And while I want to get illegals out of here, man, I'm not for a scorched earth scenario where now I can't walk out my damn door.
No, I mean I agree with you, and I would like to avoid a scorched earth scenario, but I do believe the job has to be done. And the unfortunate part is people try to put feelings in so much stuff that I know is going to be difficult. But at the end of the day, I have to ask myself why these people supporting illegals being here in the first place, because that's a whole different agenda too. So I don't think my friend got hurt. I'm gonna say that even as not even
Yeah,
knowing her, I don't think my friend got hurt.
but let's be real, Roger. Everybody has supported illegals being here. Look, when I would do those I-9 reviews, those were all Republican business owners who knew half of their damn staff were illegal.
Yeah, they're
Or the
making
guy
money off
who
of.
owns the McDonald's and his whole damn staff is Mexican.
Well,
And at least half of them in there are illegal.
I
So
think
I
we're
mean, we're in
past.
this whole business now where we're like aghast at illegals being here. That's some bullshit. These white owners of these farms, you don't think they know they got illegals picking berries and fruit
Strawberries.
for all our asses?
no, I
Yeah.
totally, I
But
totally
now
get
we
that.
want to
But
pretend like we all aghast about illegal.
We're addicted to white supremacy. We like our cheap bananas.
well, I'm gonna say I have
Exactly.
consistently I have consistently been against all that
That
stuff.
banana thing alone is like some what America has done about bananas. That shit is fucking bananas. I mean, it's some horrific stuff that they've done connected to bananas down there in
I'm
South
sorry I
America.
said it. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean that's a dangerous item. The bananas are extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
item.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry
all
about that.
kinds of CIA and all kinds of crazy overthrow. Man, this country has overthrown governments for bananas.
That's real talk. But I'm just gonna say I've consistently been against all that stuff in every form of fashion. I've been against us trying to bully people. I've been against being bullied. I've been against the just because you happen to own a big company that you're supposed to get special favors. You know, when they said all that stuff about, these companies are too big to fail, I said they can fail. Somebody else will take their spot. Only thing I see is you're protecting some white folks from opportunity that should show up for some other people. If your car company go down, a better car company can replace you. But they could be black. But I get why you saying they too big to fail, because you want some white folks to stay in power. So I've been consistently against all this stuff from day one. I'm gonna say that I've personally definitely been consistent against all this nonsense. And shout out to Terenzo Jones. I appreciate you, big cat, my brother. He said, like Roger had said about not calling females masculine, yet dysfunctional. Her description in society is dysfunctional. Yet who's dysfunctional? The agent, deceased, or the agent, the deceased, or the system? A trick question. And I'm just saying, based on what I can tell, it seems like all of them dysfunctional.
Very
Real
good.
talk. She was doing something she ain't had no business doing. It seemed like he was doing something he ain't had no business doing. And it looked like the government then came out and said, hey, don't even worry about it. Because we ain't going to check into this, which means they doing something they ain't got no business doing. We going to do a joint investigation. Then now we not doing no joint investigation. It's just going to be the FBI only, because we going to hold on to all the stuff. Y'all can't see none of the evidence. Everybody being dysfunctional. But my thing is, she's dead because she was being dysfunctional. And sometimes when you make these harsh choices, you got to accept that you can be dead wrong. And I think that's just what it was with her. I appreciate my daddy for teaching me about being dead wrong. There's a lot of decisions I didn't. Matter of fact, even me talking about that agent and trying to see Obama's house. Something probably clicked in my mind, like, don't be dead wrong. In this scenario, just walk away, because the brother letting you walk away. You know what I'm saying? And whoever that brother is, if he hear this, thank you, brother. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you, because you made it sensible to me and let me know it's time for me to get out the president's business, because he's a sitting president. I don't need the government checking on me or why I'm checking on him. And I'm just trying to see how a president, quote unquote, would live. That's all I was trying to do. And I ain't trying to end up on no terrorist list over something like that. So shout out to that brother. And shout out to No Place. He said bananas are an excellent source of potassium. He right. They have been an excellent source of potassium for those of us who stay alive long enough to eat. Because they've been an excellent source of lead poisoning too.
Well, I mean, they also been an excellent source of profit for Dole and Chiquita in those outfits. Because let me tell you, man, the stuff that they have done with bananas is bananas.
Yeah, when I heard about banana, and I heard about them somewhat recent, somebody put out I glanced through a lot of stuff, y'all, and I came across something about bananas and heard about all this stuff that happened over a banana. You would not even think a banana could be this important. Real talk. But that's an extreme. Now, let's see. Banana, is that a fruit? I think that's a fruit. Okay. That's got to be the most important fruit on the planet.
It's serious, Roger. Not to cut you off, Roger. Serious. I shouldn't even make it all the way to Jamaica. Like we can only grow a certain type of banana in Jamaica. You didn't realize that, Roger, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, we're relegated to only grow. We can't even grow like that whole thing that we were talking about Chiquita and Dole. That shit is serious, dude. Like we can't even grow bananas compete with these people. Like seriously.
And I do understand when it comes down to it. See, that's one of our issues. We use the American government and its military so people can make a profit. So my thing is that I can't support that either. Because when you go over there messing in other people's countries so you can produce a cheaper cell phone, see, I don't own no cell phone company. So you ain't do that for me. You did that for the guy who owned the cell phone company. When you did all that stuff for folks, when it comes to bananas, you did that for the guy who owned Dole. You did that for the guy who owns Chiquita. You didn't do it for me because I don't own them companies. So I think a lot of what
But
Americans do
once
is
you
wrong.
know, but once you know about those bananas and know about those cell phones, and you still buy those bananas and buy those cell phones, you're a part of it.
I mean,
You
I
can't
get what you're
disclaim
saying.
responsibility after you know about what's going on. And I'm not saying obviously we're not controlling uh, the minerals and that sort of thing, but you know, like the who famously said what 1907 said, you know, all in all, we're just another brick in the wall.
Well, I do get that, which is why when people talk about stuff that happens to America in other countries, see, my thing is this: so be it. The unfortunate part about accepting that life is not fair, if I get caught in another country and something happened to me, it's just so be it. I shouldn't have been there. It is what it is. It's not my country. And people can say, well, they got him in an unfair way. If I'm dead, I'm dead. It don't make no difference how they got it. You know, I don't even expect to be treated like I'm somebody if I go somewhere else because it ain't mine. And I have to accept that it ain't mine. I'm basically there on hopes and dreams that I can make it back home because they don't have to allow me to make it back. It's just not my country. I don't have any say so. Now, I think, you know, the issue here is this is her country. She chose to have a say so. She just picked the wrong dude to have to say so with.
Roger, you know the interesting thing about it is that
Or maybe she thinks she's Paul Revere.
interesting analogy.
You know, I mean,
I'm up
well,
here,
I
Boston.
mean, you know, depending on how things go, you either a terrorist or a freedom fighter, depending on who wins.
Well, and when you
If
up
the
against
Democrats come
America,
in, if the Democrats take over the presidency and Congress, they ain't likely
Still
to get
freedom
the
fighter.
Supreme Court anytime soon. But she's a fucking freedom
Yep,
fighter. Yes,
She's a
yes.
freedom
yep,
fighter.
yep.
She's a
That's
great
why
American hero.
shout out to
whoever
Luck, man.
whoever wins makes the rules. That's how it goes.
Shout out to Luck, man. He say, but Black Uru, I put bananas in my smoothie bowls every morning.
Hey man, it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my most consumed fruit. I'm a part of the problem. I can't even lie. I can't even I'm a part of the conspiracy. But see, I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm not.
Well, I'm gonna say the U.S. government does do some shady stuff around the world, and I totally get that. And that's why people around the world are fighting them. I ain't tripping at all. My thing is, you in their country, they don't want you there. If they get you, they get you. That's the cost of doing business. But I'm also gonna say we also can't have a situation over here. If we're smart, we can't have a situation over here where you have people in professional positions where dangerous part of the job talking about I fear for my life. See, the thing is, this ain't even a problem if we didn't accept that nonsense about a government agent talking about I fear for my life. And when I say government agent, I mean government on any level. So that means police too. I don't care if you're afraid for your life. You took a job where you might die. That is the actual job.
Okay,
So
but
what's fear got
what
to do with
part
it?
of the job application or the employee manual say you are disallowed from being afraid for your life?
No,
What part of your union contract says that?
I'm not
Minimum
saying you.
rule.
I'm not
Minimum
saying
rule.
you can't be afraid. What I'm saying is that is
I'm just
not.
saying. I've
No,
looked at a lot of employment contracts and union contracts, employee manuals, and policy manuals, I ain't never once seen any of them include a disqualification for being afraid of your life. I've looked at the Illinois State Police contract, and it's about a 500-page document, and not one section of the Illinois State Police document, ISP document, says that you are disallowed from being afraid for your life.
And all I'm saying is, I'm not saying you can't be afraid for your life, but it shouldn't affect your job performance. Your job performance is why you're getting paid.
Raj,
I'm
Raj,
saying
now,
it's not in the manual, it's not in the agreement. There's nothing in that agreement says that you cannot be emotionally affected by something to the point in which you fear for your life. There's no disqualification in those policies for that.
I told Roger at the beginning of the show about this very same thing. Now you got Black Uru getting on your case body. Now we trying to tell you, Roger, don't say that no more.
No,
but you just disobedient.
No, I'm trying to say sometimes you're wrong, and that's okay. And I'm here to help you be right.
If you got a job, you supposed to be, because you got a job, you supposed to be fucking Captain America or somebody. Is that what you think?
No, what I'm saying is I've literally had jobs where I had to go to dangerous places. I had to go to the like the projects, for instance. Getting sent to Caprini Green has made other people quit. I just go. Now I understand it's Cabrini Green. It has a reputation, all that good stuff. But the job required me to go to Cabrini Green. I'm there to get paid. Me fearing for my life is not an excuse for me not to be able to perform my job well. Because it's the job. If I don't want to perform the job, I could just quit. People have done so. My thing is perform your job the way you're supposed to perform your job, regardless of the circumstance.
Well,
if
you say
don't want to perform the job, just
perform your
leave.
job well. You say perform your job well. If I am in fear of my life being taken, who's deciding how best to preserve both the integrity of my life and also perform my job well?
Well,
who makes that call?
Well, I'm saying if you cannot handle the fear that comes with your job, you should not be working there. That's it. To me, saying I fear for my life, so
that's subjective.
What? No,
that's subjective.
What I'm saying is, when you do something on your job because you fear for your life, you are admitting that you shouldn't have that job anymore. You should be fired. It's all types of jobs where people can fear for. A pizza man can fear for his life. He got to deliver the bad neighborhoods, and he just delivering pizza.
Police officer who had been on the job for a week was disqualified for being a police officer for having an instance in which he or she was in fear for his or her life, there would be no police officers.
No.
Rogers in favor of 100% turnover for dangerous jobs.
No. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying you can't be afraid. What I'm saying is it's not an excuse to not perform your job. You can be afraid and still do it. It's your business whether you're afraid or not, but the job is doing X, Y, and Z. Get it done anyway. And if you ain't going to get it done, stop coming to work. That's all I'm saying.
So the guy who killed the woman, he's not supposed to be able to shoot that woman because he was in fear of being killed by her. He wasn't supposed to be able to shoot her for that.
No, not for that reason. You shoot her because you see her doing something that is illegal. You see her about to cause damage to people. You can do it for a multitude of reasons, but
no
fear
way
for your
you
life
can
ain't one
apply
of them.
that standard, Roger. You cannot apply that standard to police officers. I'm supposed to be in a position where I might be possibly killed by a criminal, and I'm not. That's not supposed to affect my action towards interdicting the actions of that criminal, including the possibility of killing that criminal.
No, if the criminal does something that would imply that you may be killed, you kill him for the reason for that reason,
Roger,
not because you're afraid for your life. Go ahead.
Roger,
Okay.
very quickly. There
So
is
he pointing a
there is
gun at me.
nothing. One second. There is nothing on the books, Roger. You're saying that what you heard what you just said. You said if the officer sees them doing something that is illegal, Roger, punishment up to death is not a requirement. I mean, it's not written in the law. There's nothing that says because somebody breaks the law, you're allowed to kill them. The only time the officer is allowed to kill somebody is exactly what you just said.
No, here's what I'm saying. You're supposed to kill somebody if you believe that they're going to cause harm to yourself or someone else, not because you are afraid. When a police officer pulled me over and put a gun in my face, okay. Now I wasn't a cop, so I couldn't just shoot him. Okay. Now if I was a cop, I'd have just popped dude through the door. Why? Because he came in with a gun drawn. And I don't care who you are.
Okay, so
You got to
I can
justify what you're
stop
doing.
him.
Roger,
I
you
can
playing with
kill
the word
him
fear.
because I
Roger, you
can
playing
kill
with the
him
word fear,
because
man. You
he
playing with
might
the
be getting
word
ready to
fear,
kill
bro.
me, but I'm not supposed to be afraid that he might kill me.
No, what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying.
playing with
I'm
the
over
word
No.
fear, man.
What I'm not playing with the word. What I'm saying is,
Yeah, you are, man.
and shout out to LeVar Jones. He said they not listening, Mr. Ross. I appreciate you noticing. I appreciate you
No,
noticing.
he's not making sense. He's not making sense. And you're not either, LeVar.
No. What I'm saying is, if I was a police officer and the cop came to me, now this cop just came to me, told me to get out the car with a gun pointed at me. Now, if I was a cop too, I'd have just popped dude through the door. Now, why? Because he did not establish why he was talking to me in the first place. So he was not on police business. The moment you're off of police business, you don't have any immunity. I'm just shooting you through the door. He ain't gonna even see it coming. I'm popping dude. Why? Because I'm a cop and I know I can get away with it. I'm not shooting him because I'm afraid. I'm shooting him because he had a gun on me. That's simple to me. Fear had nothing to do with it. The fact that you put a gun on me, say you got to go. Yeah, I wasn't afraid you was gonna shoot me. No, you just presented a gun, so therefore you gone. You should have presented it in a legal way, and he didn't do so. Fear ain't got nothing to do with it. So no, I'm saying fear for your life don't mean nothing. You take a dangerous job, it's okay to be afraid, but you still got to do your job, right? That's all I'm saying.
I
Our people sure who work at.
wonder when.
So if the
I
word was
wonder
with
when
to
Captain
protect,
America was. I wonder when Captain America was fighting Thanos, was he afraid? I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to.
And all I'm saying is, whether he was
I'm
afraid or
trying
not,
to
that's your
see
job. Go fight.
how you would not be afraid if someone
hey,
that I'm not supposed to be afraid when someone pulls a gun on me, but I'm supposed to I can kill him, but I'm not supposed to be afraid that he might kill me.
hey,
Is that
Roger, with
it?
the word protect, change things.
No, I mean,
Protect,
if you can justify that you were trying to protect somebody, my thing is that's
like
perfectly
protect my
fine.
own life. Protect my own life.
Yeah, you could say that, and then we can consider it based on the facts. Was there a reasonable? Was there something presented where we can justify he was truly protecting himself or somebody else? See, that's something that can be justified. You just being afraid don't mean nothing. And if you say I can't perform my job well because I was afraid, you're literally telling me you do not have what it takes to perform the
Well,
job.
they're never saying they can't perform their job because they're afraid.
No,
That's never the case.
when they kill people in unjustified ways, they say I did it because I feared for my life. That is an admission that you cannot handle your job.
They're still performing their duties, though.
No, the only reason a guy is killed because they felt afraid is not performing your job well. The only way you perform your job well is you're literally stopping him from harming you or someone else. If you didn't come to the conclusion that he's going to harm you or someone else,
Roger, you're never going to have a scenario in which a police union, the FBI, there is no judge, nobody of any authoritative consequence is going to remove the ability for a human being to fear for his life. That just is not going to happen.
I am not saying you can't fear for your life, but fearing for
And
your
it
life
don't
does
matter
not.
what job. It don't matter what job you're doing. Fuck, you could be on the moon, right? It don't matter how brave you're supposed to be or how heroic you're supposed to be.
I am not saying you
Now, how
can't be
you
afraid.
handle yourself while you're afraid, that's the question. That's the debate. But simply taking away someone's feeling and actual fear for his life, it may be for his life, it may be for his children being orphaned in a moment, for example. It can be a lot of things you could fear in that particular moment.
Well, we
Now, how
go
you
further,
handle that fear is a different thing.
and that's all I'm saying. Your fear ain't got nothing to do with anything. Who cares that you're afraid? At the end of the day, perform well regardless. And if you tell me you cannot perform well because you're afraid, you are telling me you do not have the qualifications to fulfill this job. It is an admission that you should not be working here.
Roger, you want the man with no legs to be a cop. That's what you want.
I ain't saying that at all.
I mean,
But
I don't know what kind of human being he expecting to work that job. Where at
The
20
man,
years on the gig, at some point
the man,
he's not in fear for his life.
the
hey,
man with no legs. That's
no,
what you want.
You're a CPD on the West Side. 20 years on the gig. Not one day you was in fear for your life.
man,
Not one day.
I done literally had a job doing the U.S. Census, going straight into the project and getting my job done regardless.
Roger, that's different, bro. Your analogies are come on,
No,
bro.
no. What
That
I'm
is
saying
totally
is
different.
Come
fear.
on,
And
bro.
and,
No,
and
what I'm saying is
That is
fear
not
doesn't
the
stop my
same,
job.
brother.
20 years,
That's a
20
false
years
equivalency,
on
bro.
the gig of the CPD. 20 years to retirement on the CPD. And you're not going to have one moment where you are in fear for your life.
I'm not saying you can't be afraid. What I'm saying is your fear does not mean you can't perform your job well. And if that actually stops you from performing your job well, it's time for you to be fired.
Who determines if you perform your job well, Roger?
If you either went by the code of conduct that's in place or you didn't. It's that simple at the end of the day. To me, it's all black and white. Now I'm gonna read this last super chat, and the super chat finna have the last word because we passed the 3 hour mark. Shout out to Gregory Scotland, my brother. He says, in the words of one of my favorite police officers of all time, Detroit Frank's Serpico or Serpico. I don't know this cop. He says the
Serpico, very
Serpico.
famous police officer.
Oh, that a movie, right? Did they make a movie? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking. He's a movie character or something. But he said the
Yeah,
police
Al
will
Pacino.
always say that they
Mm-hmm.
fear for their life. And my thing is, now to me, that is giving somebody carte blanche to do what they want to do. Because I'm going to accept that you was afraid, so therefore you had to do this thing. No, to me, the only thing you're saying is you need to be fired. Because you let your fear make you make bad decisions. People like you shouldn't have a job. At least not the job you want. It's that simple to me. But shout out to everybody for joining. I think it was a great show, regardless. I'll maybe try to get into a conversation about this fear so y'all can explain it, you know what I'm saying, a little bit better for y'all. Just not gonna do it right now. So it's been great, it's been real. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.
You need to amend that closing statement.